everyone. Welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to be talking about Heart Signal 4, Episode 9 and 10. Sometimes it's hard to keep track, bouncing back between these shows. How you doing, James?
Good. Glad to be back with Heart Signal. Let's go.
Yeah, it is comforting after the sometimes hard times we have over on the other show.
Yeah. Okay, though. Yeah. You just want to get right into it? I mean, we got a good amount of commenters from the listeners this week.
Let's talk about those.
Let's do a few of them. Some of those comments are so long that I'm just picking like a very small amount of what they actually said.
Yes. But they're great, so you should go to YouTube and look at them or wherever. Yeah.
Jacob on YouTube hooked me up with some info.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that Yisu is the tallest girl at 170 centimeters.
Oh, that sweet height info you're always after.
About 5'7".
Okay.
I don't know how you would know this, unless it could just be like out there somewhere. I don't recall any.
I don't think they talked about it on the show. Yeah.
Or if they did talk about somebody's height, I don't know how you would know it was the tallest. But I choose to believe it. It seems about right.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
I felt like Jimin was the next tallest, but I actually don't know.
They're never just standing still conveniently all at a level of floor where you can figure out who's taller. So who knows?
Yeah. And then we haven't heard from Emma in a while, but she commented that she liked my comment in the last episode about the under the table foot cameras.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, now that I've seen that, I can't not notice every time it happens. And literally in my notes for the show, it's like every time there's an under the table camera, I write it down, under the table foot camera. So I'll probably just bring it up every time it happens from now on.
We're on foot camera watch now.
Any comments you want to share, sir?
Yeah, we got one from Young Tron Sauce, who agreed with me about perhaps the authenticity of Jimin's comments when choosing that car ride with Mingyu last, where it's like, yeah, she just says the cute things because that's what you say. And they said Mingyu realized that their interactions were so shallow that he looked so over it during the car ride, which, by the way, is the last time he drives her to school. Which, so far we haven't seen him drive her back to school again. So, I don't know, maybe the era of the school drop-off is over.
Oh, you think it's just done because one time Jimin got a ride from Jumi instead. You still feel that way? You still feel that way? You're saying no way Jimin is into Mingyu?
Not a lot, no.
Okay.
Not nearly as much as
I'm also moving away from
other people. Yeah,
I'm definitely not for sure saying it's not gonna be her choice.
Never be a thing.
You're kind of like cheating, where you're saying like, oh, she might pick him, but that won't mean anything if she does. That's what you're basically saying. You're not giving yourself a chance to be wrong on that.
Well, I mean, obviously, but no. I mean, I really do think that like he's in third place of like if she were to rank all the guys, he's a solid third place.
Okay, I think we have no idea. I don't even know if Jimin really knows.
Okay, fair.
I also have some conspiracy theories.
Okay.
That we're gonna get into.
All right.
Probably not till the end of this episode, but
I look forward.
Feeling pretty good about this one. This conspiracy theory.
Okay.
But man, yeah, that conversation, because we're doing 2 a week, that feels like so long ago. That was like the beginning of episode 7. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So much has happened since that moment.
Yep. Are you ready to get into the stuff that's gonna feel so long ago for our next episode?
Yeah. Where did we leave off in episode 8 though?
Well, that's an excellent question. Everybody got drunk with the truth or drink game, right? That's where we were. Yes. And they all
that was episode 7, I think.
Wait, it was not episode 7. Oh my gosh.
Wasn't episode 8 they actually went on dates?
Oh, it was. They actually went on dates. I have this in my notes because we do a million flashbacks in this show and it's driving me crazy. Okay, you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
They went on some dates.
Everybody's had their dates. Mingyu went with Jian and Jumi, and Yisu went with Gyaore, and we finally got the Jimin and Jiwon date.
Yes.
And we didn't feel great about 3 of the dates, like we wished kind of.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but then there was one good date at the end, which was Mingyu and Ji Young.
Yep.
Right? That's where we were.
Exactly. But, with this show, sometimes good dates don't mean anything.
Mingyu's supposedly still not texting Ji-young.
Yeah.
Or picking her or whatever this
because
phony production process is. And that's theoretically happening.
Either the texts mean nothing or dates mean nothing. I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Or are we just being lied to? We'll get into that at the end. Okay.
Oh, okay. So these are your spicy conspiracy theories. Got it.
All right. Let's get into episode 9 then.
Yes.
Do we start with the flashback? That's the first thing I have.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
So this is right after the Truth or Drink game. And you have Jumi and Gyorei have a little one-on-one in the fire pit. And she's kind of giving him a pep talk, I guess, in a way. And just explaining where she's at right now. Where she's like, I'm not really going to worry about other people. I'm just going to take care of myself and like go after what I want. And I hope you can do that too.
Yes.
The vague way everybody talks.
Yes. That's what she said, I think. I don't think that we saw much different than the way you just described it.
I mean, we do have the ever pondering face of Gyorei just going, yes.
We get almost nothing from Gyorei in this scene, which was a little weird.
Oh, that feels par for the course for him for a lot of times, though. He's a silent absorber of information.
I feel like he must have said something, but then the show said like whatever he said wasn't worth it, and then they just took it out. The show or like the host or they're really gonna make it seem like Jumi was like super clear with her feelings in this conversation, and like they think like they're really pushing the narrative that like, oh, she accidentally encouraged him to go after Ji-young, or maybe not accidentally, but like because Gyorai's gonna instantly get more assertive with trying to date Ji-young basically after this conversation.
I mean, in a way she did do that, but I don't think it was like unintentional or whatever. Like,
but here's the thing though, like from Gyorai's perspective, like if what the show showed us was everything, it would really, I think it would be a fair interpretation for her to be like, oh, she's drawing a line, like she's saying like, oh, I want to like think about myself but not worry about other people. Kind of the message, and like you could take it as like, oh, she doesn't want to worry about like making me feel bad, and she's gonna move on from me, or like what? Like, is it possible that he could have taken it that way?
It's possible, but it felt really for me like it was they just came out of this experience where everybody said they were into Ji-young, and so she's like being encouraging to him in that way, like it doesn't matter who is also after the person I'm into, I'm just gonna go for it, and you should too.
Yeah, I think it's a miscalculation from Jumi's perspective, but
oh yeah, because she didn't actually say you're the person I'm just gonna go for.
I feel like in the history of watching the show, like somebody has said something very similar when like they were the ones drawing the line.
Yeah,
where they're like, I'm encouraging you. I want to encourage you to follow your feelings and
lead you away from me.
Yeah, like it was a little, I think, not so obvious exactly what she was saying. No, I don't think it really changes anything. Like I think Gyorai's
still on Team Ji-young.
Yeah, and did Jumi really pep talk him into doing a couple things here? Maybe it's possible, but it would have been nice, at least from maybe Jumi has a chance perspective, if she had actually. I wish we had seen her actually like
be more direct.
Clear, yeah. Because later we're gonna get like Jimin's like, oh, have you actually been direct with him? And because like Jumi's been telling people like you should just be direct and I don't think she's doing that at all.
Well, also at this point, this is before she got to go on her date with Mingyu.
Yeah,
which is like in theory her not worrying about that other people are targeting him and just going for it, So at this point, she probably didn't have her mind made up anyway in order to be direct.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can still see Gyorei thinking like this is her way of like saying she's not interested in me,
and maybe she kind of was like at this point she was like, because she's been like super just like, what's up with this Mingyu guy? I need to find out. Like very like hopeful that that's gonna work out. Maybe.
Yeah, she could have been really, really optimistic, and then maybe
she might have just been like, "Let me just like tamp this shit down so I can go on this other date." Real fast. Like the fact that we see it in this flashback taints our perspective of it. I think just because we, in the current time of the show, exist in a post Mingyu date where clearly that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair. Like maybe she was thinking like, "Oh, if I have like a half decent date with Mingyu, I'm gonna like him more than Gyaore.
Yeah.
And like the date, in terms of like her feeling that she had a chance with Mingyu, like that went like really badly for her on the date.
Right.
And now she's like, well, yeah, my date with Gyaore was way better. And now she's like, yeah, maybe that is kind of the timeline of these conversations.
Which is why I'm like, kind of like tone down all these flashbacks. Like, give them to us at proper times so I can build this story and my understanding of it on my own.
I think they just do it because, every episode's got to have its own story kind of thing. And then you could have just seen this out of context and then like, I don't know how it changes.
Forgot about
it. I don't mind the flashbacks a month. I really appreciate, since we're watching Transit Love, and I really appreciate the no confessionals. That I really love that about this show, actually.
Okay.
Because the more I think about it, like even in like Singles Inferno, like I don't know if I feel a lot of like sincerity in the confessionals, and they're always after the fact anyway. So people are giving like almost like a rewritten history of their emotions at the time. Like they're kind of gonna make themselves
look better and like cover
than they
for themselves.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So I'm enjoying the storytelling way more on this.
Yeah.
This time around watching Heart Signal, now that I've watched other shows more.
I would just like to see the things when they happen, and then you can do a flashback later. So that way I get the context the first round through, and then later, like, I'm reminded when it's important for other things. Because I think that's why, like, we keep getting Hushin and Jimin texting each other or picking each other, and it makes no sense because we haven't seen them together at all. Until, like, this episode, we see a scene of them, like, being actually cute together. I'm like, oh, suddenly it makes sense. But like, if you had shown me that along the way, I would not be so angry about these texts all the time.
Yeah, I don't even think the flashbacks we get like really justify or explain the text, them choosing each other.
Yeah,
but
it's something rather than nothing. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that upset with the flashbacks. I can't actually like say like, oh, you should have edited it this way, because it's like it's got to be so complicated to edit this. Make a story.
That's fair.
But I can be like, you know what? I don't like any confessionals anymore. You can just take them out of the show. I'm liking that. All right, back to real time. Everyone is eating.
Yes.
Oh, everyone is eating Ji Young's and Mingyu's cake in the kitchen. I guess this is
that they made on their date. Yes.
Yeah. They're really going at it too. Like they're.
Oh yeah.
They're just like attacking it from like the sides, like they're not cutting slices. And then Gyaore asks Ji Young, because you're right, this is like multiple days. Like there's been an entire weekend since he's talked to Jumi. Yeah,
exactly.
So he might be less motivated by Jumi and more just the fact that he saw Ji Young with Mingyu.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Gyaore's gonna ask Ji Young if she would like a ride to work tomorrow, because he supposedly has plans there.
Yeah,
at one of his cafes. At one of his cafes might be out in the direction of somewhere near her work.
He's gonna make it work. But I feel like it may have been just where I paused to take some notes, but it looks like Mingyu is giving him a little bit of a like side-eye death glare during this. Just like,
oh, you think so?
It probably has a lot to do with where exactly I paused it, but he's definitely given him something of a look like, oh, this is what you're doing. Okay.
Oh, because it's his move. He stole it. He literally patented this move.
It seems like a pretty basic move, but okay.
That only Mingyu was doing so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm teasing. And Ji Young agrees to this. But what's going to happen is, like, I think Gyaore usually gets up like before anybody else and goes to work, and then never comes back until the end of the day.
Yes.
So he still has to get up and go to work
super early,
and he must have to do something in the morning. That's something that's important.
Roast all the beans or whatever. Yeah.
But then he's gonna come back for like the first time ever, just to drive her to work.
And it's probably like super far out of the way, but like he goes out, comes back 2 hours later, and brings everybody coffee, and is like, "We're gonna go, yeah."
Yeah. There's also a scene, but another flashback before that, or I don't know when this was actually, but the girls are all talking in the room, and Yisu is like telling them how funny Gyaore is.
I think it's after the dates, because they're like talking about the dates. Yeah,
it just really isn't a flashback.
But yeah, Jumi is like absolutely shocked that he's funny, She's like, when does that happen?
I also feel like there was no evidence that he was funny in what we saw. Like, is Yisu straight up just like doing Gyaorei a solid right now? Like, just
maybe.
I think that's what this is.
I thought it was a little funny how his face was so big when they were at the aquarium, and he's like, "This is the coolest I've never been to before." So that was kind of funny. I don't know.
It like weirdly just foreshadows like what's gonna happen later in this.
Yeah.
In this episode, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this Yisu girl is. Like, what is she? What is she into? Why does she think Gyaorei's funny? I don't actually know.
Yeah, you're right. She might just be doing a solid. They have teamed up to, in whatever way that means, to help each other. So
is that the best way to help him though? Just be like, was he like, just tell them I'm super funny, or she just thought, or maybe she just came up,
on her own. She was like, yeah, he's funny, totally funny. Or production has been just stealing away all his funny jokes. We're not allowed to see them.
Would Gyaorei think like, okay, Minyu's doing really well in the show. Why is he doing well? Okay, he's really funny. That's why. Okay, tell them I'm really funny. Like, I don't know.
That's one way to go about it, I guess. But then there's the disappointment when you can't follow it up. So I hope he's working on his sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you can just pick up a joke book and get good at funny, because that's not like that's not what Mingyu's funniness is. It's
exactly.
It's just like riffing and saying goofy things sometimes, basically. Yeah. So we see Gyaorei go to work early, and then like before anybody gets up, and then everyone's like having breakfast, and then like he comes back, and also this is where Jumi is driving Jimin to school today, and not
there
Mingyu.
We go. Done forever, maybe.
Done forever. Okay, we'll see.
Who knows?
Possibly. And then they're all shocked to see Gyaorei return.
Yes.
I feel like Jimin and Mingyu especially are just like instantly just like laughing at him when he like shows up. Like they just like they know exactly what he's doing. Like because like they've been doing this the whole show. So they're like maybe that's why it's funny to them, because like they've already been doing it. I don't know.
Well, that and probably like the level of effort, like to drive all the way,
to
wherever, and then to come back is
that too. But like
level of silly.
I feel like everybody like should know what he's doing, but like Jimin and Mingyu are the ones that are like laughing about it. Whereas like Hushin is like, I feel like he must know what he's doing, but he's kind of like interrogating him and getting him to like admit it, trying to get him to admit it. But
yeah.
It's not as funny to Hushin as it is to Jimin and Mingyu.
Yeah.
Mingyu's not bothered by this, though. He seems he thinks the whole thing's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, right now, who knows how he feels about anybody, So maybe even though he went on a great date with her yesterday, it doesn't matter that he's given her right today.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if some people were confused or if they were just like teasing Gyaorei.
I think it was mostly teasing, because like he asked her in front of everybody the day before, right? Like,
yeah,
that's
why I was like, why are they questioning him so much? It's like, didn't everybody was in on this, I think.
Well, maybe they just didn't think about the logistics of he has to go to work really early and then he'd have to come back, and it's kind of an absurd break in his day. I don't know.
He tries to cover his tracks though by bringing everyone coffee, as if like he was in the mood to do a good deed, and then he just so happened to be the day that he was driving Gia.
I just took it as like he's pulling out all the stops. He's gonna do all the things. Like, today's the day. He's really gonna like step up and be like, "Oh, look."
Yeah, but he didn't get the coffees like only for Jiyoung. He got them for everybody.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of better, because it's like, look, I think I'm really thoughtful. I got everybody coffee. Like,
he literally did this before too, when like he got the special like, well, it was like
the special potato beans.
It was like sweet potato beans, yeah. But then he got everybody else like a normal bean, I think. Like,
yeah. He's showing that he's generous.
He wants to be obvious, but not too obvious. But it's still super obvious.
He's trying his best.
Okay, we get to see Jumi and Jimin's ride to work or to school in the car. We get some good conversation here, I think.
Jumi's asking Jimin if her feelings are becoming clear, and Jimin still does not know how she feels about things.
Yeah. She says, to be honest, I still don't know yet. What about you? And this feels like, I don't think Jimin has ever like lied to the girls about how she feels, right? Like at the summit, it's felt pretty honest. Like I don't think she would. Like if she had strong feelings here, I feel like she would just tell Jumi.
Yeah,
because she wasn't afraid to say how much she liked Jiwon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe she really just doesn't know yet, and she's just like, I'm gonna flirt with all of them until I figure it out. Like that's, and I'm gonna say,
I don't know. I kind of felt like it was maybe she's not ready to she knows like things with Jiwon are probably not going anywhere, right? They had that date, she told him all her feelings, and she's like, I don't expect anything back, whatever. But she might still be struggling with like letting go of those feelings for him. And like
it could be Jiwon specific comment. Yeah, I guess so.
But like even like if she's thinking between two people, I still think it would be like Jiwon and Hushin, not Hushin and Mingyu or Jiwon and Mingyu. But she doesn't actually say who she's talking about, so who knows?
I just think I have no idea at this point.
Yeah.
But she definitely flirts with all of them.
Yeah.
That's probably true. Flirts with Jiwon the least because he's never around.
Well, yeah, that she would flirt with him more if she could. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't even think of like good flirt moments with Jiwon.
Well, there's that time she hid behind a door and hopped out at him.
Yeah. I feel like it's when she was like asking him about going to Jeju Island or whatever that island was.
Yeah,
that was like the most flirting, I think, if I can remember. Yeah, she asked Jumi the same question, and Jumi says, I think my heart is being made up, but I still feel heartbroken. As soon as I made up my mind to pursue Gyareopa, he went straight for Jiyoung. So, yeah, I guess the show is like giving us Jumi's perspective of this, like, before the dates and then after the dates. And as it pertains specifically to their one-on-one. I don't know if what she did would have changed anything. I guess we were talking about at one point, like, okay, maybe there was a window.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a window.
Yeah, if she had been more forward with Gyaore, like maybe he would have paid more attention to her. But that was like
right after the date.
Yeah, that was like a long time ago. So I feel like even at the time that she had this conversation before these dates, like it was probably too late no matter what she said.
Yeah, but she does still think that maybe if she had expressed her feelings that night, it would have worked out better. But she even says like that was before the date with Mingyu, so she wasn't like ready for that.
Yeah, and she describes her change of heart as just being like the date with Gyaore was better, but
yeah, she also had a little jealousy when he came back from his date with Yisu, which
but that was
warranted.
That was also only after
the Mingyu date,
the Mingyu date, which she probably felt didn't go good for her. So
yeah,
and then Jimin seems a little bit confused by this. There is a sense that a lot of, at least a few people, like don't actually have any idea who Gyaore likes. That like Jiwon has no idea, and Jimin's like, really, he did? Like he didn't even realize that she didn't realize that Gyaore was like making a move on Jiyeon, even though she was laughing about it. I don't know. She was like, really, he did? And then like she explains like all the stuff with taking her to work, and Jimin's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but Jimin also says she doesn't know, like she feels like nobody knows how Jumi feels either. So like maybe we're just dealing with a lot of poop radar still,
Yeah,
people just don't know who people are into.
Jimin tries to give her a chance by saying like, but it isn't that because he doesn't know how you feel. Like basically Jimin's almost giving her the exact same advice that Jumi gave to her, basically.
Yeah.
Jumi like basically asked Jimin if she thinks that Jumi herself has been obvious with who she likes, and Jimin's like, not at all.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair, right?
Yeah.
Like even at the summit that they had a while ago, like she was still kind of all over the board, or at least she was
trying to pass him off onto the other girls at that point, even still. So
yeah, that's how we chose to interpret that. Yeah, but she talked pretty evenly, I would say, about Mingyu and Gyaore. Like,
yeah,
there's no reason for Jimin to know for sure who Jumi likes the best, and then also, I don't think nothing we've seen that made the show has been making it obvious either until now. But even now is kind of like is there only one option, and that's why she's choosing it. I don't know.
Well, we did have when she met up with her friends and talked about how she was kind of into two guys, but she really wanted to see how it was going with the one before.
That's the confessional replacement, which is way more fun. It only happens every so often.
Yeah. But yeah, we basically end this with them both being still worried about making other people uncomfortable with their feelings, and that's why they're worried about being too obvious
Yeah.
Jimin still is still kind of worried about annoying G1, but she was happy that she did decide to tell him how she felt.
Yeah. Do we think Jumi actually regrets going on a date with Mingyu? Or did she actually need that date to then decide that she liked Gyaori better? I feel like she might have needed the date.
Yeah, I think she needed the date.
Yeah.
It's just the timing wasn't ideal then for pursuing Gyaori, you know?
Yeah. Jumi specifically talks about how she doesn't like when someone likes her that she doesn't like back. So that's why she's dealing with the issue of like she doesn't want to be that person for Gyaori.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jimin says, "Nah, go for it." Or I did it with G1. The ball's in his court now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the way to go. All right. Now we get Gyaori driving Ji-young to work. Let's go.
And it seems like he doesn't actually know where he's taking her. Despite all that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in the area. He's like, where are we going?
Oh yeah, that's true. I was like, why are they showing this awkwardness? But yeah, I think that does actually illustrate that. Like he was like,
just a move. It doesn't matter.
Near one of my cafes, probably. Where is your work? Actually, I never asked. But she doesn't actually tell him the place that we see. She's just like, I'm going to work today. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was cut for privacy reasons. You know, like.
Was he like trying to work in a way of like asking her out to another location? And then she was like, actually, I'm just going to work. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what was happening, actually.
I don't know. I think he just literally didn't know where he was taking her and, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he needed to clarify that.
Okay, at some point, Gyaori's going to ask her, when do you end? When do you end work today? And Jian says, I'm not sure when I'll end. I need to work first.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, thoughts on this answer?
Yeah, she doesn't know. I know what you're getting at, but I'm trying to remember from our big fight. She did say when she asked, like, when do you get off of work? Because then I thought we could come home together. She did answer his question right here. He just asked when she's getting off work, that? Right?
We'd have to go back.
Yeah. But... She definitely over the course of
I know
that whole
we
conversation,
as the audience,
she was...
I know we as the audience understood that, but I don't know if that was actually communicated. I forget though.
No, yeah, she definitely was like, I thought we could come home together because we all work in the same area or whatever.
So this one's Gyaori's bad, is what you're saying. He's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep. And I think that if he did like specifically like answer her, she would say some words. She wouldn't just run away from the conversation at the very least.
She said the same thing Mingyu said, which was, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but there were other questions that happened after that he just did not respond to.
All right.
So this is a little different.
I'd have to go back.
She is still sort of being vague and non-committal, but
I would say I'm fine specifically with it in both ways. No one's wrong.
The show did not show me Gyaori being very upset by this, so I don't have super strong feelings about it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I feel like you might just be invested in Ji-young, and then the fact that she got upset was like the real issue, not like like if she didn't get upset, you wouldn't have been bothered by it.
Low-key, I was mostly bothered by the fact that you were trying to say she wasn't direct enough.
Yeah, which was just me not really. That was not like actually the intention of what I was saying. I was just saying like.
But anyway,
I was like, she could have been more clear, which is what Gyaori could be doing right here.
Yes, I guess.
Absolutely.
Except, yeah, he didn't ever actually ask her like.
You're gonna make me go back and watch this. I don't know if she does. Maybe the listeners could just be like, yeah, she didn't, or she did.
Oh no, she definitely did. But here, I don't know if they come to a. I don't remember if they finished this and they actually get to
Eventually, she gives him a time, but he never follows through with like, oh, I'll pick you up or whatever the plan was.
So like she did eventually give a time. Like she said the words.
It was like 6, maybe 5.
Yeah.
But it didn't even lead to anything, which was weird.
Yeah, but that's not her fault.
No.
She did everything. She provided the information.
All right. She notices that Oppa Gyaori is good at driving. So attractive.
Some say so.
Somebody like literally, it's usually the host, I feel like, but like literally when anybody ever drives for the first time in these shows, like somebody comments on their driving. Is that just something you're supposed to do?
I guess I've never commented on anyone's driving unless I was scared.
Yeah, you never gone on a date and commented your date's driving?
Never.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever been in a situation to do that, but
have you ever had your driving commented on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing in Korea. I don't know.
Yeah,
or just not a thing here. Who knows? Or maybe it was just the awkward silence, and she felt she had to fill it because it seemed like there was some of that.
Yeah. Speaking of awkward, well, I guess this is maybe less awkward. I don't know. Gyaori then just presses a button on the dashboard and like it just starts playing her like favorite song on or something, right?
He's prepared. Like
this is the master
had that ready, right? Like obviously that's a choice.
This is the master plan. I feel like literally this was the end goal, right? It was
just like, look, I remember a thing about you. Boop.
Yeah.
Your favorite song.
I'm gonna drive her and play this song, and that's the extent of the plan.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She enjoys it though. She starts singing along,
Yeah, so she does.
It's a nice little time.
To me, I was like, this is kind of cringe though. But like, I don't know. It's like too on the nose. It's like Yeah.
If I got in a car and somebody was like, oh, look, I've played your favorite song.
Especially since like we kind of like again, like I can't tell like how clear it is, but like we kind of get the sense that Jiyeon has like communicated that she's into Mingyu, and like I don't know if she's really said like Gyaori has no chance, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she was that direct with him at all. It's like there was the time when they had their one-on-one and he was like, here are my feelings, it's fine, you don't have to say anything, and then that was it. And then he decided that he hadn't ever actually told her his feelings, and so he's at it again. I don't know, it's a little weird.
He decided he hasn't showed her his feelings, which is questionable.
Which I think is like he absolutely has. I think it's just he basically told her she didn't have to respond that one time, and then she didn't, and then he's like, she must not know how I feel then.
Yeah, don't respond so that I can never know if like I don't want to know for sure that you aren't into me.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is getting in the territory to me of like, oh, like maybe this is annoying. I don't know. I cringed watching this. I don't. That's just maybe it's just me though. I don't know.
She didn't seem overly bothered by it.
But she's good in these situations though.
She is. Yeah.
Gyaori says he worries that asking her on a date has made her thoughts more complicated. And then Jiyeon says, I did think about it a lot. I wouldn't say that it was because of you. That can't be good, right, Sarah?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think she mentions like she's not going through a hard time because of him. So like that's good, I guess.
I mean, but on like as a like out of context comment, yes, but in context, like like if she has a headache because she's on a romantic reality TV show and none of her brain power
is working on him. Yeah.
That can't be good. Okay.
Yeah. Things are not looking good for him on this at all.
Maybe Gyaori had more plans past play the song and he might have bailed on them. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Well, what are your other plans on the drive?
He made it seem like he wanted to pick her up or like do something after work, and he never. We never saw an offer of any kind.
That's fair.
Unless he really just wanted to know exactly when she gets home for some other plan he was planning to do.
Or he might have picked her up and they just didn't do anything and it was boring and they didn't put it in the show.
They didn't even show them making the plan though.
I mean, I think he might have. There was enough there where it's tangible that he figured out the time. He's like, okay, that's when I'll come back for you or whatever.
Oh, that is not what it's. If they're not allowed to text each other or communicate with their phones, there was no pickup happening after the way we saw that end. Yeah. Is Jiyeon drawing a line with this comment? Or has she already drawn a line before? Maybe.
I don't think she's drawn.
You don't think so?
A super strong. I mean, like emotionally, yeah. Like I don't think she's into him, and I think she has tried in some gentle ways to coax him in that direction, but she hasn't like.
She's not saying stop trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. Then she says to him, did you date? The translation was like, did you date someone you like, or did you date someone who liked you? And I wasn't sure what she was referring to, but I guess it was just like an in general question.
Yeah, I think it was an in general question, but I initially thought it was like she was asking about the date he just went on. Like,
yeah, but I think she meant it as in general, and that's how he's gonna answer it.
Yeah, he says he can only date someone if he likes them and they like him back. And I'm like,
yeah. So what are we doing?
That is in fact what a consensual relationship is. Yes, yes.
Oh, that was your reaction? My reaction was like, so what are we doing here, Gyaorai? Like, what is this that is happening right now? Like, what?
He's on a reality dating show and doesn't know what else to do with himself.
It seems like
one girl he likes.
It seems like based on his guess, like he should just be waiting for Mingyu not to pick Jiyeon and then hope that she comes around. But
I guess,
yeah, he has to at least know that she likes somebody more. That has to be a thing. I guess that doesn't mean she doesn't like him. So maybe that's what his angle is.
Yeah,
that's his mental state of right now.
And also, like, I don't know that he's into anybody else really that much at all. So what else?
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be doing. He doesn't have to be doing this. What he's doing right now, if this is how he truly feels about dating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if the girl has to be into him, he must have some, level of chance that he thinks she is into him for him to be doing this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, there's more talking about love in general and stuff, but basically the same feels that we're having with these two. Jiyoung. Gyaorai is not Jiyeon's number one, and Gyaorai is.
Mm-hmm.
Jiyoung is Gyaorai's number one. So
the best part is where he pretends to be an Uber driver.
That is the best part. That was actually funny. Like, this is the funniest thing he's done on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is such a Hushin thing to say. Thanks for taking my Uber today. Please leave me a 5-star review. He knows how to be funny without being drunk.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Congrats. Good job, Gyaorai.
At least I hope he's not doing his Uber job while drinking.
And then they get to the drop off. They high five each other.
Yeah, it's not a good sign when it ends in a high five. But
then Jiyeon gets out of the car, and then Gyaorai gets out of the car. I'm sorry, I started to cringe more here.
Yeah, that was pretty awkward.
Even Jiyeon is like trying to wait by, and then she's like, "Why did you get out? Why'd you get out of the car?" And Gyaorai starts walking over to her, and he's like, "Oh, when are you coming back?" Even though he already asked this question.
Yeah.
And she does say, "I might leave at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m." It's still not exact.
And it's still not clear if he intends to try to pick her up or not. It's very
She might know exactly when she's getting off and not saying it on purpose.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is fine, right, Sarah?
Yeah, but she at least answered. Like, she gave it. She didn't just go like, "Oh, I don't know," and then walk away. Or it is different. It is different this time.
Okay.
She answered all the questions.
It is different people. I agree.
He didn't go, "When are you getting off? Because I'd like to drive you home," or maybe we could go get some dinner. He just went, "When are you getting off?" And she said 5 or 6, and he went, "Hey, bye." So, like, how's she supposed to know what he's getting at?
I'm just triggering you again. This is bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but it leaves at them meeting back at the house. I think they even say, "See you at home."
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this attempt by Gyaorai? Too much, or is it fine? Too little? Should have gone further. Where are we at?
I mean, he should have been trying to drive her to work earlier, I guess. Just it feels like he probably got psyched out about it, right? And put too much pressure on it. What you need to do is just consistently be in the same place as the person you're into and have nice conversations.
No,
right?
Then you'll get too comfortable. That's not good.
Oh, well, I never understand that aspect
literally,
of it.
Literally, yeah.
Well, then you start driving really fast and reckless and it's fine or something. I don't know.
According to the end of the show, Mingyu has epically failed in his attempts with Jimin because of this strategy. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's the actual reason. I don't know. It's weird. But it was an okay attempt, I guess. But he's really trying to accomplish something here that's not going to happen, right? It doesn't matter how hard he tries or what he does. She's really into Mingyu. So
yeah, I gave advice to Jiyeon to show another side of yourself, kind of thing, specifically because of their conversation on their date where Mingyu is comparing her to his exes and like feeling like, oh, it's the same vibe, same person kind of thing. But like that advice really is kind of good for like anybody who's in this like this Gyaore spot where, okay, they like somebody else, but I only like them, and I'm gonna try to get like win them over. Like the only thing you can do is like do something where you like show them a different side of yourself than you've shown them before. But like I don't think this is what is doing that. Like driving her to work it's nice, but like I'm sure she already thought he was a nice guy. Like it's not changing anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Gyaore has. Now he's gonna get drunk and whatever, and I have feelings about that not being a good either. But I don't know. Like what? Ask her on a date and take her to like a place that you have like some hobby you haven't revealed that you can show I don't know, different side of yourself. I don't know. It's just this doesn't do anything for me. I don't think he's making any progress with this. I don't think it had a chance.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Then here's a scene.
Back at the house, yeah.
Mingyu and Yisu are watching TV in the playroom together. Just them.
Yes.
Looking very much like a couple.
Yeah, they look pretty comfy together.
I will say one of the comments this week was from Interregnum, who is now made a bold prediction. I'm not sure if Interregnum watched this episode before leaving this comment. I will say that, but saying that they think that Mingyu actually might end up switching to Jisoo by the end of the show, or switching to Yisu by the end of the show. This is the beginning of that storyline. I don't know if I buy it, or I don't know what a Yisu is yet, even after watching
Yisu is a new attractive woman who is not entangled with the complications of everyone else in the house already liking her.
That's true.
And I think that's part of the appeal.
Yeah. I don't really know what Yisu's vibe is at all on this show. Like, is Yisu a production plant? I don't know.
What do you mean a production plan?
I don't. It's something about like the way she talks. Like she doesn't seem like overly emotionally invested in anything yet on the show, which is like
been here for like what 3 days or something. Maybe a little longer than that, but still.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Which is I'm trying to think like Heart Cycle 2, I guess. Yeah, like the girl that came in late on that like probably didn't get too emotionally invested. Like they ended up liking somebody, but they didn't get like crazy about it. Like they understood the situation. So maybe she's just like equally, she's got a level head about everything here.
And like she's a casting director for like commercials or stuff. Like she's used to like TV things or whatever. Like I don't know that she's on this show being like, oh, I'm gonna find my love forever. It might be like she has a casting director friend who was like, you would be good in this show. Why don't you just try it? And she went, okay, that sounds like fun. Like she could just be here for
she seems like an easy find for this show as a quote unquote game changer to come in late and then, do her best to make the show more interesting. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't think she's inauthentic. Like I think she's being her and she's doing her thing, but I think
some of the stuff she says
just here for a fun time.
Very confusing.
Like what?
All right, well, let's get to it. All right.
Okay.
So this is just scene 1 of some goofiness. All right. They're actually like sitting the same way on their couch with their like legs crossed, like pretzel style. Did you notice that? Yeah.
Yeah,
they're, like, already bearing each other.
Yeah.
And then Mingyu just like brings up out of nowhere, or he like grunts or something at like audibly, and she's like, "What?" And he's like,
"Yeah."
I was thinking about what the guys should talk about when we meet today. So Mingyu, we know this from the previews, but the guys are gonna like go out drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which must already be on Mingyu's schedule. So he's like worrying about it, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah.
This also, I did write like this seems like a random thought that you would share with like somebody who was like your girlfriend, doesn't it?
Or someone you're at least comfortable with in the way that I think it's good for a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. But then Yisu's gonna ask him, before I came, it's a key part of this statement. How did you feel about Jimin?
Yes, she's curious about how strong the feelings were.
Let's break this down. What does before I came mean?
Before she was on the show? Yeah.
Yeah, as if to say
she came and changed everything for him. I don't know.
Is that what she's saying? Like things are different now, obviously. But before I came here, like since I've been here, everything's different.
I think she's making it easier to talk about by giving him the illusion that things are maybe different now. So, like, how'd you feel about her before? You don't have to talk about right now because your head's probably a mess or whatever, but before, how was that going? And plus, that's a time when she doesn't have information from, so like she's just gathering all the data she can, trying to figure out if this is if it was so strong, his feelings for Jimin before she even showed up, that if there's even a chance for her.
To me, it's a weirdly worded question.
Okay.
Isn't it more valuable to be like, how you feel about Jimin right now? That seems
but he's not going to answer that question.
Okay.
He is 100% not going to answer that.
All right.
But he might answer how he felt about her before.
Okay. But are you reading into this like she knows now that Mingyu likes her, but before, how did he feel about Jimin? Is that how you're reading this at all?
I don't think that she is confident that he likes her now.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
She might be playing it with a like, of course you like me now because I'm so confident. But like, I don't think that.
You don't think she knows?
Yeah, I don't think she knows. I think she does know that he needs a little bit of vagueness in it to answer a question.
That's so meta.
Because if it's too direct, he's not going to answer.
That's so next level meta that I cannot believe that she would like be so sensitive to him already and know exactly how to ask questions and get answers. Like that seems she
might be like really good at reading people. They went on a date. He was vague then. I don't know. She might have picked up on it.
Okay.
Or maybe production gave her advice, like,
yeah,
this is how you got to approach this person. This is how you got to approach that person. I don't know.
Maybe they were like, can you ask him this question, but like say it in a weird way that suggests that you know that he likes you. Maybe.
Maybe. Or maybe it's just the translation is a little awkward and
that could be true too.
Caught up on nothing.
Yeah, but I feel like the edit of the show is trying to suggest that Yisu is saying that Mingyu likes her. That's what I thought the show was trying to suggest. But then they go on a date and it's like confusing. So
yeah.
All right.
But like even here, like he doesn't answer this question because of course he doesn't. But he says
that's another thing we have to talk about.
What, the fact that he doesn't answer this question?
Supposedly.
Okay.
I've maybe hinted at this before, or at least was thinking it before. How because Mingyu is so clearly the final decision on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, like his responses to questions or something he's saying throughout the course of the show has to be edited out. Otherwise it'd be revealing what's going on. And I think this episode especially, just like some of these, the way when Mingyu is like part of a conversation, it's just like choppy in a way that I think he's saying something and we're just not allowed to see it.
That's fair.
And when the guys talk, we really need to talk about that. Because he, in a conversation that Mingyu was worried about having with the guys, and they showed us him being worried about it. He says so little about how he feels about the girls in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do not believe he did not say anything. No way.
Yeah, that's fair.
So she asked him how she feels about Jimin. I'm curious how strong your feelings were.
And he says that the feelings he felt over the weekend were very strong.
Yeah, which like that had to be the answer to a different question. Like what?
And like
that has nothing to do with Jimin. Unless they're saying the feelings I had for Jimin were very strong, and that's what the show wants us to think, but they're like chopping up a conversation to try to make it make sense. I don't know.
Like the other thing I've written is like, since I knew you weren't gonna come out on the date, meaning like
Mingyu says that
he knew.
Later,
yeah, like he felt some feelings because he knew she wasn't gonna be the person he went on a date with. Is what it kind of is trying to sound like, I guess.
Yeah, but he's referring to Yisu when he says this.
I mean, he is talking to her when he says this, so it sounds like that's what this is supposed to mean.
Unless he's like, yeah, I don't know. This conversation is so weirdly put together.
It is missing some things, because I would think the feelings he felt over the weekend that were very strong were about the date he actually went on with Ji-young, which was a pretty good date.
Yeah, it's so hard to decipher what feelings he's talking about and like what girls he's referring to.
Or maybe it's just the overwhelming feeling of all the girls are like picking him and he doesn't know what to do with himself or something. Like it could be any kind of feelings, but they don't want us to know, so we don't get to know.
Yeah. But also the other thing is like, how did he know if he is talking about Yisu? It's like, how did he know Yisu wasn't gonna pick him? Is it because she told him on their first date, like, I want to date somebody else before I come back to you? Like,
or maybe just like once production told him where he was gonna be over the weekend, he knew or something. I don't know.
I don't see how he would know that.
I don't know.
Like the moment he would know is like, okay, production told me I had 2 dates. I'm on my second date and it's not Yisu. Like that's the moment. That's like the first moment he would have a chance to know.
Or he goes on his first one and he absolutely knows that like Jiyeon was gonna pick him. I forget what order it went in, but like.
Oh yeah, Jumi was first. That's true. Maybe he could have figured it out then. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they want us to believe here that like they hit it off like crazy on their date and we didn't get to see it or something. And
yeah, but why wouldn't they show it to us if they did? I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know why. I don't know why this would be the secret that they'd want to hide. Like usually you would think like, oh, a game changer comes on the show and hits it off with somebody. Like you want to show that. Like the game changer is here to do that. And you don't have to show like, okay, if they agreed to be like boyfriend and girlfriend or something like insane happened on the date, like don't show that part. But like, based on what we saw, there should not have been any conversation like that. Like, like, oh yes, we are definitely picking each other at the end of the show, based on what we saw. No way.
Like, was it just that right level of weird uncomfortable that we don't understand that they totally enjoyed?
Yeah, but even if it was that good uncomfortable, like would they have been comfortable enough to admit their feelings for each other? And like they now know how they feel about each other. I don't know. I'm just saying this is highly suspect. Oh, everything that's going on with Yisu and and the Mingyu's edit on the show.
That's fair. Yeah.
I have a big clue later.
You have a big clue?
I think it's a big clue. People will have to go back and watch and see if they agree with me, but I think I have a big clue coming later.
You're not gonna okay. You love to like tease things.
I love doing it because we have to get to the context of the situation.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, then Yisu's like, was the feeling that you had when I wasn't gonna be there significant? And then Mingyu nods yes. If this is even what they're talking about, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Yisu says, that's interesting, as if to like, oh, maybe she didn't realize that Mingyu liked her. I don't know what's happening here.
It's very confusing.
Also, the music in this scene is like so odd. It's like a classical like piano performance. I feel like it was music I've never heard this season. And then Yisu just says to him, I think my heart fluttered just now.
So, I mean, something good must have happened, right? Like, things must be going at least okay.
Well, I think it would make sense to me if her heart fluttered just now. Oh yeah, she's saying something, so something happened in this conversation, even if it's like chopped up. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, Mingyu goes on to explain why he's uncomfortable talking to guys. Basically, like he now knows that all 3 of them picked Jiyeon as their number 1, and their number 1 was like the important one to them, and then he's the guy that went on 2 dates with her.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jiyoung chose him. So my thought on that though was like, isn't it only uncomfortable for you if you're also into Jiyoung? Like, like if 3 guys liked a girl and I didn't, why would it be uncomfortable for me that she chose me for a date or whatever?
I mean, that could also be uncomfortable because you know that like
he's worried the guys are gonna like kick his ass or something like
no, but like
be upset
if he's
with
not
him,
into her, like that's time she could have spent on a date with any of them instead.
Yeah, but it's like it's so easy to just be like, guys, I'm sorry she picked me for a date, but I'm more interested in somebody else, so don't worry about it. Like it's not it's more uncomfortable if you're also into that person and now they're like interrogating you and you're trying to like give them answers, but also you like you're competing with them and it's awkward.
Even if they're like interrogating him, like he might just feel awkward sharing any information about her in this setting. Like it's not his place to
just talk
coach them on. I guess that might be it as well. Yeah,
I guess. I really don't think it would be that uncomfortable if he wasn't into Jiyeon.
I feel like Mingyu can find a way to make any conversation feel uncomfortable for himself.
Oh, for himself, maybe.
Yeah.
Then Yisu says, "How do you feel about Ji Young?"
He says he thinks she's charming.
I think she's charming. That's all we get to see. Is that all he said? I don't know.
It's unclear.
I ended this segment by writing, "What the fuck is going on right now?"
It is unknown, and it will remain unknown for the time being.
Like at the moment I watched this, I don't think I agree with this anymore. But at the moment I watched this, I was like, I'm kind of hoping that like Mingyu and Yisu have like already agreed to be a couple. and then Yisu is just like really cool about talking about the other girls with him. Like she's just all about it. Like I know you like me, but like how much did you like those other girls?
But if she was really cool, would she even need to know? Would she? I don't know.
Well, she would just be like teasing him, I guess, would be the context.
I guess.
I'm thinking. Yeah. All right. Well, that scene happened.
Yep.
All right. Time for the guys to go out. This is when it gets even spicier with what I'm predicting is going to happen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're going to go drinking with some food. We found out Hushin did a drawing and showed Mingyu and Yisu earlier today.
Yeah.
I can't believe we didn't get to see that drawing. Like, what the hell?
I know. But Mingyu describes him as a true artist. And it's like, yeah, it's his job.
Yeah, I'm not an artist, but whenever I like go to see somebody's art, I feel like I'm very timid about like commenting on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess it's just a joke that Mingyu sang, but like it's not something I would say to be like I feel like
if
you're
trying
joking
to be
about,
like, oh yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, but to say it like the way he said it, I feel like it's a little like, oh, like art isn't a bullshit profession; it's actually real. Or like I don't know. It was something about, and then when like Ji Young is gonna go see Hushin's art, and she's gonna be like really asking him like the meaning of stuff and everything.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just like not what I do when I go see people's art, and I don't like do artists really want to get into that when people look at their art? I feel like in my experience, like it's more like, you know, they just made what they made for themselves, and then like you can feel your way about it however you want. Like I
think
maybe some people like to explain why they do certain things, but
yeah, everybody's probably different.
It didn't seem like Hushin was that excited to talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's different contexts too. Like if you're on a date, like maybe you're feeling really self-conscious about whatever deeper meaning was behind whatever. But I think like there's probably different levels. Like artists might not want to just talk with the random person who doesn't really know anything about art, but I'm sure there's some value in discussing their art with other people who like get it, you know, from like a technical perspective, or who also like create things.
Okay.
But
so
I don't know.
Like a random person. You know, but there's a good chance like an artist just like was feeling away at the time, made a piece of art, and then like that's it. Well, that's all it is. It just happened, and it could still be really good, and they don't have. There's nothing to explain. It's just a really good piece of art.
Yeah, but it also could be good to hear from somebody who even like doesn't know about art stuff that the meaning they put into it like got through to that person. You know.
Okay. I just thought it didn't seem like Hushin was that pumped about whatever Ji Young was trying to say about his art, you know?
Really?
I don't know that.
No, we'll get to it later.
Maybe that's my own
that went well.
Okay, all right. Overall, they are a pretty funny group. I think Mingyu and Hushin do a lot of the heavy lifting in the beginning of the segment, and then the hosts are like, "Wow, they're all so funny," and I'm like, "Yeah, Mingyu and Hushin are funny." And they're carrying the entire team here.
Yeah. There's a weird dynamic where apparently in each of the rooms, one of them has fallen asleep with a face mask on, like the OCD sheet mask. And like Mingyu woke Gyorei up to be like, take that shit off, you shouldn't sleep in it. And Jiwon just left Hushin with his and was just like, whatever. So like maybe that says something about which room is closer or not. I don't know.
Or just says something about Jiwon.
Maybe that too.
Also don't know. Like to me it was like it's worse, but is it really that dramatic? I'm not experienced with these face masks. Like I think Hushin will survive. His face will
obviously
survive.
He did, yes, but like it's just a funny parallel that happens.
Yeah. Hushin eventually brings up dates. Jiwon says he's curious about Mingyu the most.
And his 2 dates.
Yeah, he frames it under, it's like, oh, I'm curious about you because you had 2 dates. It's not about Gia.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Hushin brings up how he thought Jimin would choose Mingyu, and then Mingyu's like, I knew Jimin was going to pick Jiwon.
Oh.
So Hushin Hushin was not getting any sympathy from anybody on that prediction. Jiwon says he recognized Jimin's feelings after having their date, but still says like he doesn't know how deep they are, which to me is like, I guess that's fair. Like to me, and maybe he feels this way too. Like her feelings are based on nothing. Like it's not like
they haven't spent time together.
Like or even if she's having big feelings, like it's like G1 is like, I've done nothing to earn these feelings. Like how can they be meaningful?
Exactly.
Yeah, but even here, it did seem like G1 was saying like he's been aware of her feelings for a while. So I think if we didn't already know before, like G1 is, he's not. I don't think at any point there's no chance he's just gonna be like, oh Jimin, let's do this thing. Like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not happening. Mingyu does ask if she was different on the date, like trying to figure out if his dates are comparable to G1's dates, is what I'm assuming, you know?
Oh, okay. That's what he was asking.
I think. But yeah, G1 said she was more thoughtful and contemplative compared to how she normally is, which is, I don't think that's how she behaves with Mingyu, so he can feel whatever way he feels about that. I don't know.
Thoughtful and contemplative? I don't know. I don't even know if that's... Is she consistently that? I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's what G1 described her as on the date compared to how she normally is.
Oh. And G1 doesn't know how she normally is.
Well, these are the words he said. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, from observing his date versus all the time she went out with Mingyu, like, she did, to a certain extent, behave a little differently, you know?
Oh, she was different with him than with the other guys. Yeah. I thought they were asking G1, like, was she different on the date than she was not like
normally, like in the house?
Normally in the house, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were asking. But
but G1 has like no basis to even answer that question.
Well, I mean, he has seen her in the house, but
like
I just assume the reason for the question is so that way Mingyu can compare what she's like on his dates versus.
I think he gained no information because.
Well, yeah.
It's like even if G1 answers the question, like his gauge for answering the question is so different than the spectrum that Mingyu is looking at. Yeah. Overall, G1 just doesn't seem very excited about Jimin or even talking about Jimin in this segment.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then we finally get a flashback moment with Jimin and Hushin. Sarah, go for it. What happened with these two?
Okay, so he's just hanging out in the courtyard. And she comes to gather him for, I don't know if they're gonna hang out or drink or eat food or something. But she's like, oh, are you in your artist zone or whatever? Can you like not come and hang out? So like there's some sort of understanding of his like normal process, I guess. You know, like sometimes he gets a certain way where he needs to think about art, and they have spent enough time together that she knows this. And it just seems like they have a good rapport. They're like a little jokey, a little cute. I'm like, okay, if you had shown me some of this before, I might have thought that they would text each other.
Yeah, I can see why Hushin would have felt something from this interaction, like her re-bringing up, like he might have just casually mentioned it, or when on their date, their like first date, the artist zone thing.
Yeah,
and the fact that she remembered, like I could see that making him feel feelings. So we're getting something. I don't think this segment in particular highlighted why Jimin likes Hushin, other than that, she remembered something he said, but it was also just like a normal, nice thing to do, to be like, hey, we're doing something. I just wanted to check to see if you wanted to join us. Like, it's not that.
Yeah, but like
Jimin's perspective.
I don't know. All the other girls also noticed it and did not go down and get him, or whatever. Like, I don't know.
I mean, only one person had to go. Just coincidence.
Not true. They all could have come down.
I guess. All right. It's something. Still not a lot to me, but it's something.
Yeah.
Mingyu, they show Mingyu talking about Jumi in this conversation. She was very thoughtful and considerate on their date.
Well, yeah, she did plan him a super date of relaxation.
We get comments on Jumi. No other women will Mingyu talk about in this entire conversation. That's so unlikely that that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is funny. Hushin says yesterday Jumi asked him to tell her if there's anything she could help with. And then Hushin's response to Jumi was, I asked her to talk crap about Mingyu with the girls.
That's pretty solid, yeah.
But then Jumi's said to Hushin after that, like, "Oh, his feet smell" or something, as like that was like her first thought that she could say bad about Mingyu.
Mm-hmm.
But then she also told him he had bad teeth on their last date. Like, what did she say that? Like, it just like came out of her mouth because she was like specifically searching for flaws in Mingyu like the whole date, and then she was like, maybe. "Oh, maybe his teeth aren't that great," and then she just like said out loud by accident. Because we never saw her say it in like the context she said it.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe she's like said under her breath, like, "Oh, he got bad teeth," and then it was like, "I'm gonna say that later to the ladies." And then Mickey says, "I put body lotion on my feet," and then Hushin says, "That's why you're so popular." The secrets. He's letting all the secrets out.
Right now. Yep. The secrets are feet lotion. That's about it.
all the foot cameras we get though are with shoes on. So
yes,
we're missing out. All right. Also, Gyaore is drunk already. They're all gonna get drunk.
It
seems, I guess. Yeah. Mingyu doesn't show any significant signs, but he's also edited out of the conversation. So
yeah,
Gyaore basically like turns into Hushin, at least at this part of it, and then goes like full drunk mode later.
Yeah,
which is like nobody, a whole new person. But he starts saying things like Hushin.
Yeah, they talk about the food that they just got be good for being manly, and Gyaore's like, "Well, I guess I don't need to eat it." You know, just like
he's so manly.
He's so manly already.
I don't need the manly powers that this food will give. And then Hushin just straight asks Gyaore like who his favorite girl is deep down inside.
And Gyaore's like, "Wouldn't it be fun to just continue to not know that?"
Yeah. And then Hushin says yes, but I won't say mine either then.
Yeah.
Hushin is the one that we actually want to know, right? Like we know we're not going to get Mingyu, but
right.
It would like kind of be useful to know Hushin.
Yeah.
And somehow we managed he is going to answer the question and we're somehow still not going to know because eventually Gyaore in his drunken state does admit that he likes Ji Young.
Yeah.
Since the beginning, I think is what he says.
Yeah. And he realized his feelings that he got were very special.
Yeah.
Which is how he puts it.
And Jiwon seems to be very taken aback by this a little bit, right? Like he was like, I thought you liked her at first and then maybe one other time, but I didn't realize it was like the whole time. So he's a little
he doesn't actually hang out in this house, so
That's
he doesn't know anything.
It seemed like Mingyu knew though, just because they must have been talking about it.
Yeah,
we weren't watching.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. And then Gyaore turns it back on Hushin, and he eventually says that for him it's Jimin, and Mingyu's face does not enjoy that.
Is that what they showed? I didn't read into that facial expression.
I don't know. He made a face, and it seemed to be in response to that.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense. He still likes her, right?
Wasn't there an awkward? There was a pretty good awkward silence after Gyaore admits it's Ji Young, right? Or no? Am I wrong about that?
I do not recall.
Okay. Yeah, Hushin really is like, I don't want to say, and then eventually is like, it's Jimin, and then Gyaore follows it up with like a slightly different question, and then he says it's Ji Young. So like he says,
he asked him if he's interested in anyone else. So yeah.
But he answered both questions, like, at least to me, with, like, the same tone and purpose. But it's really hard for me to pick up on that. But, like, the way he said it was almost like it was 50-50.
Yeah. And, like, he chose to say Jimin because everybody else had picked Ji Young at the thing. So, like, he's just trying to not make it awkward, maybe.
Because this man jokes so much, like, he could have said Jimin first as, like, joke, but then he says the real answer after. I don't know. I don't know which one he's really favoring, actually. Although he's been supposedly texting or choosing Jimin in the things.
Yeah, but all the scenes we get in the show are him and Ji Young.
Yeah, so. And him thinking about Ji Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like I think the hosts get into this snowball effect where like all the guys might be thinking like they all individually thought Ji Young was amazing, but now that all the guys think Ji Young is amazing, it's like amplifying their view of Ji Young even more. Where they're like, oh, this is like, if Ji-young becomes my wife, like I'll be the happiest person in the world because she was so sought after.
Yeah. Because you could be wrong, but like all these guys can't be wrong, right? You know, everybody agrees she's the best.
Yeah, and then it's also revealed that Hushin is going on a date with Ji-young, which Gyaorei was not aware of.
Yes,
and he is extremely visibly upset by this.
Yes, he is.
He's like so drunk that he just straight up is like, like, like.
It's like he maybe realized he's behind. Like he should have been giving her rides to work a long time ago, and by now should be at unofficial date territory.
I should have asked her on a date. I think he just honestly didn't realize that all of them were like number one Ji-young.
Yeah.
Basically. Also, we don't know what Mingyu has said about Ji-young at this point.
Yes, that is accurate.
And then here we go, Sarah. This is the best clue I've noticed in the show so far.
Okay.
People have to go back and watch if they want to agree with me or not on this.
Mm-hmm.
Ji-won then says, after everybody's like talked about Ji-young, he says, "Isn't it Ji-young right now?" And he like points around the table to people.
Oh.
And we're made to think. I think if you just heard him say it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, Hushin, Gyaorei, and himself. That's who he's talking about."
Okay.
But if you go and look, it's hard to tell because it's like only a shot of him. But Hushin is like sitting right next to him. And it looks like he points to Mingyu first, then Gyaorei, then himself.
Uh-huh.
And then he says, all four of us picked Ji-young. But like in his Ji-young part, I think he like left out Hushin because Hushin at least said some other name.
Yeah, okay.
So did Mingyu
latched on to the we all picked Ji-young and only wrote that part down because that was what mattered. I didn't pay attention to who he was gesturing to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he says all four of them picked Ji-young, so Mingyu, had to have said something about Ji-young at some point. I mean, the caveat here is that they're drunk as fuck, so maybe, pointing and making statements about anything could be inaccurate.
The motor skills might not be completely honed in right now, yeah.
I have a feeling that Mingyu has said something more strongly about Ji-young than we have ever heard on the show in this conversation.
Then why everything else?
You mean why? What's a Yisu?
What's all the time he has spent? Why is he? I don't know.
Oh, why is he not picking her in the after?
Oh, because you think that's fake too. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll get to that at the end of the show.
I see.
All right.
But also, like, he goes on a date with Yisu later. Why is he not trying to go on more dates with?
I mean, a girl asks you on a date, you go on a date. Like, no one's ever said no. We've never seen that ever.
Okay, but he could also be asking on a date. He could be asking Ji-young on a date. He has shown
he just
proactive on that front before.
I mean, he just went on a date with her, and four guys are trying to date her at the same time. So
yeah, so you got to be really on your game if three other guys are trying to date her at the same time too.
Literally everything Mingyu does in the show is edited out because it's too revealing. Okay. So they could literally have gone on a date and it's not being shown. We only get to see the official dates with Mingyu and Ji-young because they have to show us those. But all the extra dates, we're not seeing those.
Interesting theory. Okay.
I'm not saying there has to be extra dates for this theory to be right. I'm just saying it's possible.
Okay. All right.
The sense overall that this episode lays out that in if you watch the show Big Brother, they offer this like live feed service where you can actually just like the show is playing out in real time, so you can actually go on live feeds and like watch what's going on in the house and have like all the inside knowledge of what's going on outside of what the show is telling you when the show actually airs an episode.
Okay.
And if you know that, like you can actually see like, oh, this is like they're changing the narrative of this interaction because they think it's better for TV or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But like if we had the live feeds of this house, the show is very much hinting at like we would know who Mingyu is going to pick in the end of the show. Right?
Okay.
Whether or not you think it's Jian or Jimin or Yisu or whatever, the show really is establishing that Mingyu has already chosen.
Okay.
It feels right.
I mean, it did not until you said it.
Oh, I that's with the weird stuff with I don't know, that's at least in this episode that's the show seemed to be telling us that, not just like me theorizing that. It's just like the show is telling us he's already chosen. I don't know. So I'm currently at it's Ji-young.
Okay.
Based on what we're seeing, so much weirdness with Mingyu, especially now.
Yeah.
It probably, if you go back and watch episodes, you can probably see other moments where it's like this conversation seems odd, and it probably is for this reason. I think we're at Ji-young right now, based on some of these clues here. And I need a conspiracy to justify the the picking at the end of the Edge episode, but I'm willing to go there.
All right. Okay.
All right. Yeah, he must have said something because he just had to have. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did note down that he does not disagree to the statement that Ji-won says, like, oh, we're all in on Ji-young right now.
Yeah, not that, I mean, if Ji-won made a bad statement, I don't know if Mingyu would actually correct him. But
well,
maybe. All right, and then Gyeore gets hella drunk, and drunk things happen. Do you want to talk about this? I'm sure people enjoyed this part of the show. It's just not for me. Like, my wife was cracking up this whole Gyeore is drunk.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
Yeah, he does initiate an oath of brotherhood, and I'm not sure what that means.
I mean, nothing basically is what.
Yeah, but like, just like we'll still be friends even though we all want to go after the same girl, or who knows? I don't know, but yeah, it is some silly times. He wants to go to karaoke, but nobody wants to go, so they don't. Yeah, it's just drunk times. It's drunk silly times. Nothing like of future consequence really happens, except we do get to see him be a little silly, which is a different side of him. You were asking for a different side of him to show to Ji-young, so here we go.
But it's not real. It's like, I mean, some people like to say like, oh, it's like shows your real personality when you're drunk or whatever. But like, if you can't do it while you're sober, it's not real, right? That's how I feel.
I mean, it is still part of you, because like some people try to blame bad behavior and the way they act on, oh, well, I was drunk, so it didn't mean anything, but it still comes from somewhere within you, you know?
Yeah, but if in order to to be attractive, you need to be drunk all the time, it's meaningless, right? That's like,
I didn't say he was being attractive.
No, I'm just saying,
he's showing a different side of his personality is all.
If you need to get drunk to show somebody another side of you, that then they will now be more attracted to you.
I didn't say it was a winning strategy.
What are we doing?
I'm just saying here we see a different side of him, and there may be many reasons why it doesn't come out over the course of the show. Being filmed over all the time, like, feels like it would be hard to be like natural and whatever. So who knows? Lots of reasons.
Yeah. Oh, whenever I see people like drunk though, especially like this situation, like it's actually like really sad. Like Gyaore's like, it feels like, he's decided to just throw his hands up and not give a shit for a night because he realizes like how much the deck is stacked against him for getting Ji-young, basically, is what this feels like.
I don't know that I can say that for certain. There is like a big drinking culture in Korea that I don't understand all the nuances of, but like people go out and get drunk together and it doesn't have to mean anything necessarily,
Oh,
I mean, you could read it that way, that he's upset that's why he drank so much, but it might just be like, this is the amount he drinks when he goes out on the town, like that might be true.
We haven't, I guess maybe it just wasn't drinking with the guys. Maybe it's the difference. Like,
yeah,
they all say like, oh, we haven't seen this side of you before. Like, even though they've drunk before, they've drunk together before, but he hasn't drank this much. So like something's different, but I guess it could just be.
It might just be like the comfort of just being with the guys instead of like trying to behave in front of the girls he's potentially like trying to date,
Oh, okay. Well, all right. I'll have to take your word for it on that.
I mean, I don't know. It could be, it's unknowable.
I mean,
I'm not going to ascribe some, he's sad about things to his motivation for drinking. He just, we don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But the girls are back at the house in the playroom. Here's another weird conversation. All the girls seem to already know that Yisu likes Mingyu, and Yisu said she's not trying to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good strategy. I'm pro that strategy.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're the super late game changer coming in. Yisu says she was proactive with Mingyu today and talked a lot about that with him. I'm assuming she's referring to the previous conversation we talked about.
Yes.
Which she's saying I talked a lot with him. Is what we saw big enough to be a lot?
No.
No, okay.
So like obviously they talked for longer than what we saw.
Yeah. I mean, they had the whole day, theoretically, because everybody else went to work. Yeah. He was more clear about things than I thought.
More open and decided is what I have written down. So like decided, I think, is the important part.
Okay. What did he say, Sarah? What did he say that we didn't see or she is interpreting as being decided?
Yeah. I don't know. We didn't see it. So
you think we didn't see it, or he's interpreting what we saw as being like, oh, he likes me. He said it.
I mean, did he? I mean, in a way, maybe that weird, like, my feelings over the weekend.
Yeah.
Connecting with the maybe. Okay, so either they cut a bunch of shit out, or she is very confident and reading things in a way that like benefit what she wants to be happening. I don't know.
I think it's more likely that we didn't see what he said, and she does know something. But it seemed like her thoughts going into or prior to that conversation with him were like, oh, he wouldn't be decided because all the other girls don't know what he's thinking. So she's like kind of telling the other girls like, oh, he has decided. You just aren't being told what the decision is.
Yeah, and she's like, it would be better to hear it from him instead of from her. But then she also does say that he was being vague. And I'm like, which is it? Was he open and decided, or was he vague?
It's like, super weird conversation.
She's saying too many weird different things. So I don't know.
I really felt like she was saying it in a way. I'm seeing now, like, okay, it could have been a couple different ways. But I felt like she was saying it in a way. It was like, yeah, I talked to him and he's like, yeah, he's really into me. And
yeah, it did come off like that when I watched it. Like, she was just like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you that he's definitely into me because you should hear it from him. But
and if you talk to him and he's like vague with you, like, that's not my fault. Like, he might just like not want to tell you how he feels because he picked me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is that what's happening right now?
That might be what's happening right now, which might mean that what we saw earlier is almost entirely what happened, you know? Like,
yeah. Or at some point, did he actually say, like, more significantly that he was talking about Yisu and he likes her the best?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I'm not buying it. I think this is a weird, like, really weird, awkward attempt for the show to get us to buy Yisu. That's what I feel.
Okay.
I've never, like you said, like, it's been like, it's less than a week, like what, like 4 days?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a late game changer come into these shows and make a significant impact.
Okay, but like,
this is an insane level of impact. Like,
no, but think about the space Mingyu is in right now, right? He was all in on Jibin and has recently decided that maybe that's not the way to go. He should express his interest elsewhere. He starts being into, paying attention to Jiyoung. They had some good dates. And then he realizes that everybody is fucking into her and now it's a complicated mess. And maybe he just wants to leave that all behind and have some stress-free time with the new girl who is super into him because he looks a little like a vampire. Like, maybe he's just completely disconnecting from it and like, I'll just try this over here because it is less stressful.
People do not usually date like that on these shows, but I guess it's possible. Usually people are quite the opposite with the way they approach.
Oh, yeah. But he does, like, I feel like we see him a lot looking concerned about the everything else that's happening and like, oh, it's getting complicated, or like his comment earlier about like, I don't even know what to say to all these guys later because they're all into her. Like, I could see it being overwhelming. Yeah,
they're all into her. I can see it being
overwhelming to him.
They're all into her, and he's winning, and he's also into her. That's my best interpretation of why these conversations.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just a potential that like I would understand it if he just went, I'm gonna just not deal with this big mess anymore, and I'll hang out with the new girl. Sure.
Okay, that seems very unlikely, but.
I mean, I don't think that that's 100% what's happening, but I could like there is room for that to happen and me to not be like, oh, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So what's going on here? I wrote in my notes, is she just fucking with them? Like, like straight up. And she has a production plant and she's like, all right, I'm just gonna, all these girls like Mingyu, I'm just gonna act like he's chosen me and just fuck with them like hardcore.
She doesn't need to be a plant to fuck with them, you know?
I guess not, but it's like
her.
Really doing production some favors to be doing this. Like,
yeah.
Does she really know who Mingyu likes? Does she speak the same language as Mingyu and understand him better? I don't know. Yeah, I think the hosts were saying like, "Oh, Yisu thinks Mingyu likes her."
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I you know, I'm willing to get off the Jimin bandwagon, or the Jimin hope for this, but yeah, I'm seeing a lot of clues for Ji-young and all this.
Okay.
Deciphering the weirdness of these scenes. Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Why does this scene have to be weird? Okay, this is why it has to be weird. Yeah, it's so hard to believe that Mingyu would have like chosen Yisu already. That's the crazy part of it. Even if it's possible, like what you're saying, like, you know, he wanted to chill. There's another attractive girl in the house who's doesn't come with complications. Let's explore this. But like to have chosen her, that just like cannot be.
Yeah, I don't think
what
that's
it is. And maybe she interpreted our conversation, this conversation we saw, as that. But even that's a little weird too. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. The guys get home at 10 p.m. though, and then there's more being drunk stuff. Sarah, do you want? What of this is, if any, is important to you?
I mean, there is a bit where Ji-won says that Gyorei was worried that he'd come home and confess his feelings and then get kicked out of the house because that's one of the rules. Is you're not allowed to actually directly confess your feelings, even though people.
Oh, he said that? He like
yeah.
I thought he was just worried about it because it would be embarrassing.
Oh, well, maybe he didn't say it, but they definitely did show the rules again, like, and highlighted the part that was about, like, you can only confess your feelings on the last day or whatever.
Okay.
But the rules are fuzzy, and people do anyway.
Yisu can't possibly know them. Unless he broke the rules, and that's why they're not showing it to us.
You know the rules don't mean anything.
That's what I usually think. I always forget about that. Like, every time someone fails to properly communicate their feelings, it's like they could just be overly trying to follow the rules.
Yeah.
But like when
not great for anybody.
Like, but when like Jimin went on a date with Ji-won, like
she told him her feelings. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't say like, I'm picking you in the end no matter what. Like, that's not a thing I said, but there's a lot of gray area between I'll pick you in the end no matter what and like telling them that you have significant feelings. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I think later we're going to find out Hushin like sprained his ankle or something on the steps because he walked up the steps while he was drunk.
Oh, was it during that time? I couldn't tell because he always wears all black. So I couldn't pinpoint when it was.
I think it was only because when the guys first get back to the house, before the Gyaorei shenanigans start, like all the girls are like weirdly like hovering around Hushin as if like I didn't get it at the time, but then I thought I put together later like, oh, like they know he like hurt his ankle and he's drunk, so they're like extra like all four of them were like helping him get to his room, it seemed like.
I see. Okay.
And I don't think it was only because he was drunk. I think it was like this extra thing happened with his ankle.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know, the way he walked down the stairs when he twisted his ankle was like yeah. I also like to just blame his injury on getting drunk too. That's
okay.
That's
okay. Sure. You do you.
You don't want to describe Gyaorei at all here.
I mean, he's definitely singing a bit and talking about Inception a lot. And the girls just seem to be having a good time following the guys around and being like, well, look at this different behavior. They're not normally like this.
I just see it like from my perspective, like they're not laughing with Gyaorei, they're laughing at him. And I don't know. To me, it's like very kind of, I don't know. To me, it's just sad to watch more than it is like, oh, this is so funny. He's being so hilarious. Maybe I'm just being a Debbie Downer on this whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were all chill with the experience. I don't know that Gyorei came away from this feeling bad other than hungover, you know? Like, it's whatever.
In my entire life, I'll say I've never seen someone drunk and then I thought they were more attractive. It's never happened in my life. So, but that could just be me. Who knows? Oh, was there a product placement for Go Pizza? I wrote this in my notes.
Yeah. The next day, there's pizza product placement lunch.
I rewatched it, but I must have missed this part the second time.
Yep.
Pizza for breakfast.
Or, I mean, I think it's probably lunch by the time they all get up.
Okay.
But who knows?
But then
maybe it's breakfast pizza.
Hushin, Jian, Mingyu, and Jimin are like the only ones doing this Go Pizza product placement.
Right? Yeah, everybody else is maybe
Gyaorei is
hungover or somewhere else, or yeah.
Gyaorei isn't feeling well, I think is what we hear.
Yeah, okay. Definitely.
And then Jiyoung, Mingyu, and Hushin are doing dishes.
And Hushin is pretty upset because we find out his nephew is sick.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was just like also hungover a bit, and then he was just like, my nephew is sick. And then I feel like Jiyeon keeps asking, like, is it serious? Like, and stuff like that. And he never, like, I don't know. We don't get a good answer of it. Yeah, I don't know why.
But generally, he is, concerned about him and in not the best mood. But it is date day, so
it's
rally
like,
and go on a date.
He never said how serious it was, and then I guess there's just like ultimately there's nothing he can really do to help. It's just like a thing that it is. So he like still goes through with this date day, which is not an official one. So I don't know like how obligated he is to do it, but
it is the one date he's been really trying to go on for a while now.
Yeah, so their date's gonna start at like 3 p.m. this afternoon. By the time the date starts, he says he's feeling better than he was in the morning.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's respect to his nephew, like there was an update that he got, or maybe he's also
or
just
if
not
it's
as
his ankle, or if it's a hungover situation.
Yeah.
There are many fronts on which this man could be feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I was amused that we have a scene of him like looking through his closet of a bunch of black leather jackets, and he cannot decide what to wear.
I did notice that was funny.
Everything in the closet is black, and it's just like, this shouldn't be that hard to pick out. You've made a very efficient wardrobe.
Yeah, and Jimin said he should be wearing colors. I don't know if it's going to work out between those two.
I think she might be able to overlook that. I think she'll get past it.
Okay. Oh yeah, in the scene where he slipped coming down the stairs, they cut to the host talking about it, and Sangmin makes a comment that he was like, "This is just like American television." Did you catch that?
Yeah, I don't.
Is it like there was kind of like a slapstick comedy-ness to it? Is that what it was? I actually didn't know what he meant by that.
I don't know. The closest thing I can think of is like, I don't know, there used to be, I don't know, maybe it's still a show, that America's Funniest Home Videos, which was just mostly videos of people falling in different ways, and maybe that's the very American TV he's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like in a lot of like sitcoms, like there probably is like people falling downstairs, but yeah, I'm curious like what shows he's specifically referring to when he's mentioning it here. Yeah. I don't know. Jiyeon is very excited. They're going on in the car to their date, on their date right now. Jiyeon is very excited to see Hushin's paintings.
Yes.
And he actually did show her something on his tablet in the past. I don't know. Oh, it's one of the paintings
that they're gonna actually see, like
that he actually
showed her on her. Yeah, because I think she's like, yeah, I'm excited to actually see it, or something like that. And it's funny, she's like, oh yeah, I really, really like this one. And he's just like, well, buy it. Like him in his Hushin-y way. And then in the car, she's like, well, maybe I'll buy it. And he's like, well, it's free if you decide to date me. So, like,
you can pay with love. He says you can pay with love, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hushin then says he's done most of his dating with her, I think is what he was saying.
Yes.
And then she suggests going on more dates.
Yeah, or he might regret it, and he says, I won't regret it because I'm having this date with you now.
Yeah. When she suggests going more dates, like she doesn't say with other people, but I felt like it was implied.
But he still managed to turn it around and like make her blush a little bit,
Yeah.
So
I don't think Jiyeon would say that to Mingyu if Mingyu was like, we've been on so many dates together. She wouldn't be like, oh, you should go on more dates with other people. I don't think she'd be saying this. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty established. We know how Jiyoung feels, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think Jiyoung's gonna have a switch up by the end of the show?
I mean, it kind of depends on if Mingyu does another weird avoiding her situation. If he keeps like interacting with her and being cute, then they're gonna be fine.
2 strikes and you're out situation.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, it's got to be like, why are you ignoring me again? Like she did not feel great about that. Yeah, he's not doing it anymore. I'm like, as long as he continues to like pay attention to her and act like a reasonable human, then yeah, she's gonna pick him.
Okay.
I mean, I do enjoy her with Hushin, though. They seem to have a nice dynamic and have a fun time, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. The one weird part of my Mingyu has already picked Ji Young theory at this point is that it does seem like Ji Young might not realize that he picked her or is like favoring her, which, but at the same time, like maybe she does because she's like really not. I mean, I guess everybody does this, but like she doesn't seem overly worried about even attempting to try to leave the door open with anybody else, you know?
I don't think like she's closed the door with Hushin, really, right? Like she's going on a date.
She's not closed the door, but like she's dropping comments like maybe you should date other people, like like stuff that you would say. I don't think you would say unless you had like some level of confidence that what your main pursuit was like feasible or likely. I don't know.
Or she is just legitimately like concerned for him and his experience here, like, you know, just
that's possible, I guess.
Live to go do the whole show, you know?
Yeah. I guess she could just be super looking at it only from his point of view, but I feel like it's got to be some level of revealing of her feelings.
Yeah. And this bit is followed up where Hushin asked her why she wanted to go on 2 dates with Mingyu, and she said that she liked their first date and that there was definitely something she liked about him, which was his like relaxed personality.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of explains the whole he was avoiding her thing, and that's kind of why she wanted to talk to him again. And she says that she was straightforward with him, but he doesn't think that he was with her. So like even if he has picked her, I still don't think she knows.
Yeah. That is weird. You'd think if like Mingyu really already chose, he would. I mean, again, they can't actually tell each other, but
like when he had essentially obvious, like in the beginning, he basically chose Jimin right away, right? And he put all his effort into spending all that time with her, you know. And we're not seeing extra unofficial dates with Ji Young now.
Yeah,
like he was doing with Jimin before.
Yeah, we're not seeing it, but I don't know, the Jimin's thing was still really weird because they invested so much time in it. But what I'm saying is like, regardless of who you think Mingyu picked, if you're just looking at it from an edit perspective, like if you're assuming okay, Mingyu at this point in time, the person Mingyu has chosen is who he's going to choose in the end. Then
okay,
like the job of the edit, if they're going to make Mingyu the main character, is to make it seem like at least one, if not more, girls could win Mingyu over.
Okay.
And
so that's why the Yisu content is in here.
That's why the Yisu content is there, and that's like maybe why
have the Ji Young content in there.
Yeah, and that's maybe why they put so much effort into the Jimin stuff early on. I think for sure the Jimin stuff has to come back around in some way. Like maybe they just have another date, and then the show will at least make us attempt to feel like something has changed, and maybe Jimin is going to pick Mingyu, or maybe Mingyu is still going to pick Jimin. Like, it's going to come full circle with Jimin at some point. I don't think Jimin's just going to be, like, nothing. Like, her and Mingyu aren't going to do nothing the rest of the show, I don't think. But
I also feel like you don't film all that super charming content and not use it, right? Like,
no, but they're using it as
great on going on dates.
Oh,
like, how are you not going to show all this cute as fuck dating that happened on this show, right?
With Ji Young,
even if it doesn't lead anywhere, like that's why they showed it, you know, because
you're talking about Ji Young and Mingyu. If they
Jimin and Mingyu, like stuff that we've already seen, like even if it doesn't lead to anywhere, like you couldn't just throw that all away. That was so cute.
No, you can't throw it away. Like you can't throw it away, but like we've seen plenty of dates on the show where like the date takes up, you know, significant less time than other dates, and
those people are not nearly as charming as Jimin.
Maybe I don't know. Like they could. I feel like there's a lot they could do. I don't think they had to go as hard as they did. Even if they were like, "Wow, this date's too good, we have to show it." Like they didn't have to. If they weren't leveraging it for some narrative in the future, I don't.
It might have already played its part because it was the reason that there was this awkward time between him and Ji Young, you know, where he pulled away and she was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, yeah, that might have been, that storyline might be done.
Nah.
No? Okay.
I don't think so. It's just because, you know, like all right, here, so I've only watched Heart Signal 2 and now we're watching Heart Signal 4. I haven't seen every season of the show.
Uh-huh.
But you have to imagine, like, they filmed the show.
Yeah.
And based on Heart Signal 2, it's kind of like if you're just like, okay, this is the editing formula for the show, if they have a go-to way of doing it, it's like they choose a main character, which is just who's going to make the big decision at the end of the season. And once you decide that, like everything you do from an edit perspective is centered around that. Now, you're right. Like some content could just be like, hey, this is a good moment, we're going to show it, we have to fill up time anyway.
It's cute content that also contained their main character.
Yeah.
And maybe he wasn't doing anything in the beginning that really serves the final narrative, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like it could just be like a let's get them to like Mingyu moments. If like he's going to be the final character, let's just use this so that everybody like sees Mingyu a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. If he was literally not spending time that was significant or TV worthy with anyone else.
They just like really hard sold them as like serious in like a way that I guess it could serve. It could be both. It could just be like, yeah, this is what we have, and we might as well just like make it seem like Mingyu might choose her in the end. But to me, it's like it's so early in the show to go that hard with that edit that there has to be something they have later that they're at least going to circle back around to it.
Maybe.
And there's plenty of time left. Like everybody's going to talk to everybody at some point, so they'll do something with it. Oh, also back when we were talking about Ji-young saying like going on dates with other people, I think she finished that by saying like, I think you'd act even more charming if you date someone, that's like also a weird phrasing of like, is like, does she not consider this to be dating someone? Like what they're doing right now?
He started this date by saying, yay, I'm finally on a real date with Ji-young. So like,
and she's like, I think you should actually go date somebody. Like,
but she did also say, oh, the weather is perfect for falling in love. Sometimes she just says some shit, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but this is like a clearly, but even that could be like, wouldn't this be a great day to date somebody else and fall in love with them? I don't know.
You can't say that to someone who just
well, she didn't say that, but it was like
to be on a date with.
That's why she didn't say it, but
okay. I don't know. I think like this.
I don't know. It was just a weird thing to say.
I think she knows this is a date. Like it's a date, but
I think you'd act even more charming if you date someone.
Maybe in that context, she means like a dating, like in a relationship with someone. You know?
Oh, if you like.
Because it's one thing to go on a date with someone versus to date someone.
More charming, like once he was
in a relationship,
had a girlfriend, he'd be even more charming. Maybe. Okay, whatever. We know where Gian is. I just said basically like she just kind of tells Hushin what we already knew about what we've already been told about her storyline with Mingyu, and that's what led them to going on another date.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't say it. Did she say? She kind of framed it in this like, oh, we had like a weirdness that happened, and I just wanted to like date him again to be like really
be able to talk through it, or
yeah. It wasn't like a. She didn't definitively say like, yeah, Mingyu's like the guy I like on the show, and that's why I chose him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She says there are things about his personality she likes, but she didn't say like he's the dude. She's still on this date, you know.
Yeah, but despite her not saying it, Hushin seems to have understood what she meant. I think he kind of goes a little like low energy, I think, after this. What do you think?
Yeah, but he is also having a bit of a day.
That's true.
I feel like at any point he could just be thinking about his nephew, and they cut that in here because it's convenient. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, his face looks like he's not very optimistic about his chances with Ji-young.
Yeah.
And the way he's going to talk to Ji-young later, it seems like he's just, admitted defeat. I wrote my notes later.
Yeah, I guess in some ways.
Yeah.
But they do have what looks to be like a really good date.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, why not?
I mean, we start where she's like, we got to go to this pharmacy because I want to get stuff to take care of your ankle. Like,
pharmacy
that's nice.
Date. Let's go.
Well, I mean, she is concerned about him and, taking care of him. Yeah. That's cute. That's great.
And Hushin's still on, like, even though he's low energy, he's like, I'm head over heels because she had the thought to go to the pharmacy for him. And
then says, not just that. He's like, oh, we need to get me some heart medication because, you're just, I'm head over heels for you.
My heart's not fluttering. It's exploding. I feel like, though, it's like Hushin, like, isn't that worried about his ankle at all. Like, legitimately, he's not just, like, playing it tough because she gets him like a pain ointment, And then she's like, apply it diligently. And then his joke is, I'll do it as if my life is at risk.
Well, that's just Hushin, you know? He's going to make a joke, yeah?
But I feel like every Hushin joke has an element of, like, truth to it, right? Like, and I feel like the truth here is, like, yeah, we don't really need to be getting me pain ointment right now. I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, he is, like, out walking about with her, right? It's not but it's still cute, you know? Like, you go with it because it's cute.
It's more about the sentiment of it than whether or not he actually needed it. Yeah. All right, then the art store, Sarah.
Yes, they go to an art supply store. They get some art supplies. It's cute. It's nice. Nothing significant happens, but yeah.
Oh, well, he asks her to pick out a colored pencil for his sketches, like what color it should be. And then I was like, oh, maybe he's planning on like doing a sketch for her in that color. That's my prediction.
Oh, we do get a flash forward, I think.
Oh, okay.
Of him and all of the girls painting together at the house.
Oh, I feel like that was a flashback. Like they've already been doing that together, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Is it a flashback? I thought it was a flash forward because they needed supplies for it. I don't know.
I think they're just like getting supplies that Hushin needs. I don't know if it's
no, but at some point
you think this is for the canvas that he like brought to the house.
I think it might be. At some point, like I think Ji-young says like, "Oh, the girls will love this" or whatever. Like she makes a reference to other people using these supplies as well.
Okay. The people we see working on the canvas are Hushin, Ji-young, Jumi, and Yisu, I believe. We don't see Jimin doing the painting.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or the rest of the guys, yeah. Okay. Then they walk through the streets together.
Yeah. And they end up at this like fortune place where you like put a quarter in and you know you get those little eggs that normally have like toys in them or whatever.
Oh, it's weirder than that though, because it's like it's specifically
based on your MBTI, and you go to the right vending machine and you get this little egg with your fortune in
it. Yeah. The whole nation's like really obsessed with this MBTI thing.
It was very popular.
It's a random
recently,
fortune telling stand, yeah.
But they don't read their fortunes now; they save them for later.
Yeah, because they look at them briefly and they're like, "Oh wait, they're not the same thing. Maybe we should actually."
Because I guess they have the same MBTI.
Yeah, they had
the same from this.
one. Yeah, they're both ENFP. Actually, they do a lot on this date. Actually.
Yeah, it's a action-packed date.
I guess this street walking isn't a real location. So, but their second location is
a photo booth place.
Photo booth.
Yeah.
They didn't eat twice. It was like art store, photo booth, and then dinner, and those were the 3 locations.
Yes.
All right.
So that's why it's an unofficial date, because it's 3 locations, but 2 have to involve food, I think, or something.
Okay, we're making up the rules as we go.
We'll figure this out. Yeah, they put on little like ear headband things, and they take pictures together, and they're cute. Some standard cute date shit. Good job.
Yeah, we saw this in Transit Love too, and it was like, but it was between 2 people that like were not gonna get together. So maybe that's why I had similar vibes.
Oh,
it's like cute. It's like cute, but it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just something I wouldn't want to do. So I'm not thinking about this date. This like doing this activity doesn't seem very impactful to me.
I mean, this is
I guess it's pretty normal
thing that this is a popular thing to do, like to get to these photo booth places. There's a lot of them.
I was wondering this, like, is it a popular date thing or is it a popular like weird boyfriend and girlfriend thing?
I think it's a popular all sorts of people, all sorts of things thing. Like, because you're definitely gonna get like groups of friends after school going to do this. You're definitely gonna get people on dates. Yeah, okay. I think there's a lot of people.
I guess it has to be popular if like it's not just like a photo booth, it's like a place for doing photo booths with props, which I mean, like if this exists, then it has to be somewhat popular.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a popular thing.
Okay, all right.
And then finally they go to a restaurant.
Yeah, and when they sit down, we get the foot camera.
Yep, immediate foot cam.
They like maybe almost touched by accident, so we got the foot camera.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jian talks about how pretty the place is,
and he says she's prettier.
Yeah. That was kind of cringe. That was on cringe level to me.
Okay.
I'm cringing at some of these attempts the guys are making.
Yeah, well, this is in line with all the corny shit he normally says, right? Like his sort of like over the top funny things.
It's not like creatively funny though. It's like pretty weak compared to what he normally. Okay. I mean, it's not really even supposed to be funny, right? It's just like a fact.
Yeah, I mean, it has an impact on her. It takes her a while to like stop giggling and recover from this, and it may be because it's just so corny. But I don't know. She doesn't seem to hate it.
Maybe it's just kind of cringe to me because it's like this girl knows she's pretty. Like, you don't need to say it out loud. Like,
I mean, it's still nice to hear. And like he's out here trying to reinforce, hey, this is a date. I don't want to be here for friends. Like, he's like, think of me in terms of dating, you know?
Yeah, okay, I see that, yeah. But she's on a show where there's 4 guys and they're all into her, so
it's still nice to hear.
She's got to feel pretty good about herself.
Yeah,
The only reason she isn't is because she might not know the one guy she wants. Is this like with when Jimin was like, if someone besides Mingyu was saying nice things, it would mean a lot. Like if Mingyu was saying she was pretty, she would be like, this would be like amazing comment.
Yeah, it's better to hear it from the person you really like. Yeah.
All right. Then Jiyeon notices him like trying to hide a smile, and then she asks him about it. And then Houshin says, I feel like a successful person. I'm with my pretty wife eating excellent food. Yeah. See, that's funny because like that's some shit that like probably a lot of guys think of in moments like this, and he actually said it out loud. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Is he like putting her like really up on a pedestal now because of the conversation with the guys last night? Like, oh yes, no, I think like the ideal woman.
No, I think this is just his vibe. Is just to do like over the top compliments and jokey, charming things. Like, this is just his personality, I think.
But he didn't like smile on purpose. Like, that was genuine.
Yeah.
On the feeling, and then he just like actually said what was in his head, which he like.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything like this with Jimin that we saw, but
that's true. Yeah. But I mean, he's been coming after Jiyoung for a little while now, and like, it's finally the date has happened. I don't know that the other guys being into her has impacted it. You know,
okay.
It's just the time it took to get here might have impacted it.
Yeah. After he made this comment, I read like he really is like trying to like manifest this into existence. Just like say it out loud, and then maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like kind of what I felt like Jiwon was almost doing with her on their date also, but like it doesn't bother me the way Houshin's doing it. I just like him better, so I don't care.
She just seems to be more into Houshin than she is with Jiwon. Like, I think she's more responsive.
Maybe. She's pretty good, like, no matter what. So I actually don't remember.
Yeah, but like I feel like she clearly drew a line with Jiwon in a way that she's never done with Houshin.
Okay. And then Houshin says, "Are you starting to like me now?" She does say something like, which is like, you keep saying starting to, or something like that. As if like she's saying like, of course I like you already. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to put starting to in front of that. So that was a little good for Houshin, that comment.
Well, then she does explain that like she picked him as her number one when they had to text their number ones and number twos. And he was the closest to her type, you know, at first. And when they picked the gifts for the date, she thought she was picking his. So she's like, see, there's like, I tried to do things with you. It just didn't work out.
Oh, that's how you took that. Okay. See, my interpretation of that, because I was like talking about when they were doing the truth game, I was talking a lot about, or speculating that like the willingness to answer the question could mean that it's like it doesn't mean that much to you. And we know for a fact that, or I guess not for a fact, but according to Jumi, Jiyoung said that her number 2 on the list for that was like the important one. And like Jiyeon is choosing to reveal to Houshin that he was number 1, but is not telling him that even at the time that she did that, like number 2 was more important.
Yeah, but he's still one of the picks, and it's still like she did have an interest in him, which is why she's like, you keep acting like I don't have any interest in you, but like, behold, there has been interest.
Yeah, but she's willing to say to Houshin that he's number 1, but as far as I know, she hasn't told. Or did that come up in the truth game? Did she say Mingyu was number 2? Oh yeah, Mingyu asked her.
Yeah.
Okay, that did come up. Okay, that already came up. But she didn't tell him that. Maybe they just weren't thinking about saying it at the time. But she didn't tell him that outright on a date with him beforehand.
Nobody was talking about number 1s and number 2s then. You know,
I guess it wasn't on the thought. Yeah, and then they talk about how she said that in the truth game that Houshin made her the most comfortable.
He asked her why she feels comfortable with him, and she's just like, I knew you're gonna ask about this because you're all worked up about it.
She just thought he was bothered by it, but she didn't realize how much he was.
Yeah,
or at least how much he's gonna joke about it. It's again, it's weird. It's like he's joking, but it's like it's serious, right?
Yeah, exactly.
she's like, I could tell that bothered you. And he was like, oh yeah, could you tell how furious I was? And then she laughs, she's like, okay, I didn't realize how angry you were. No. So was Hushin really furious, or is it just a funny joke?
I mean, I think at the end he did finish by saying, I'm just joking. Like, he wanted to be clear that he wasn't actually mad. Yeah,
but just because after you say something, you say just joking, doesn't mean that it was just a joke necessarily. You might just realize that you maybe shouldn't have said that, and then you just said it's a joke.
I don't think he was actually mad. I think he was like
okay,
disappointed. I don't know. Upset. Maybe furious is a strong word. I think he just wanted to pull back from that.
Yeah, okay. But it doesn't mean it wasn't somewhat true. Yeah, Gianna admits she picked him for number 1. I really liked the masculine type. They were the closest to my type at first.
Yeah.
And then I realized things were more important than just having a type. And I moved on. She doesn't say my number 1 was not the important out of the 2.
That's right. She doesn't say that. But she does say that, like, after then spending some time with Mingyu, he was different than how she expected. And I'm guessing that is the time from before their first date, and then after their first date, she saw that he was different than how she expected. But who knows what the context is at any point sometimes.
Oh, she was just saying, like, until I went on the date randomly with him, like when she was trying to pick Hushin, then she went on a date, and then he was different than I expected, like during that date, I think, right?
Yeah, I think that, but like sometimes you know how these things get chopped around. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There's the potential for maybe we don't have an updated idea of her feelings right now. I don't know. Like there's room to, it could have, like, she never talks about if the second date went really well, you know? So like maybe,
I mean, we saw it.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, it did go pretty well.
Like if that date didn't go well, what date have we ever seen that's gone well? Like,
I mean, I said the same thing about the first date, and Mingyu didn't act like it went that well. So you never know.
Yeah, you were really high on that first date, and like I'm on the same page with you from Ji-yeon's perspective, but I don't feel like the show invested that much into like showing Mingyu's feelings on that. And we know why that is. It's because, you know, they're hiding it. But yeah, I didn't get the same sense that like it was mutually an amazing date for both of them. It didn't say it wasn't either, so it could have been for him, of course. But yeah. But after she does date him, though, I don't think she realized that he was the masculine type. Or I don't know what masculine type means. So her type quickly went out the window, right? Like that wasn't a big deal to get rid of that.
I mean, sure, yeah. Her type could be many different types, you know. Who knows?
She was legitimately trying to pick Hushin for the gift picking. Mm-hmm. And like if she did, like straight up, like they would be a couple on the show, right? Like
yeah. And so she's like, yeah, isn't like timing's important, and he's like really annoyed at their bad timing. Yeah. So
stupid timing. I understand the frustration from Hushin because like the timing is like a thing that comes up and like maybe an excuse that is used a lot on these shows. But this is like, it's not even really timing as much as it's just randomness. Like it's really just the mechanic of the show randomly pick dates.
Yeah. The timing of if she had dated him before she dated Mingyu.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But it's the thing. It's frustrating that it's like solely based on randomness. Like he existed in her life at the time under the same conditions as Mingyu, and it was just literally just like this luck of the draw thing. When I think of timing, it's more of like oh, I really like this girl and she seems to like me, but like she's already in like a long relationship with somebody. Like that's like, you know, I just didn't meet this person at the right time of life. But this is like I did meet this person at the right time of life, and then we drew straws, and I got the wrong one.
Yeah, but it's still literally a sequencing issue, you know? Like, if she had gone on a date first, it would have been different.
I'm just saying it's more painful than just, like, the normal timing issue, I think, for Hushin. It's, like, literally just bad luck, not a, like, oh, we were in different points in our life kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like Hushin says he, like, doesn't really expect anything to change based on today. He kind of, like, gives
that...
He doesn't say that exactly, but I feel like the way he's talking.
No, I mean, he says like today was really important for him. He's been like thinking about her, and he didn't expect anything would change much on the date. I guess that might be it.
He says something like this. I didn't write down the exact conversation, but this is why I wrote it down like that. It's because he says, or the sentiment that I got from it was like he kind of wanted to go on this date and was hoping it would be bad so that he could like move on. Isn't that like kind of the sentiment?
I mean, yeah, he says he wanted to like go on this date to help like sort his thoughts out.
Yeah.
And he didn't think that much would change from it though. But now he's like, I had a really fun time and I'm going to be thinking for a while.
Yeah.
So if anything, like he's saying this date has reinforced his feelings about her.
Yeah, that is what he's saying. But going into the date, he like wasn't expecting anything to change and was maybe kind of hoping it would be bad so that he could.
I don't know that he said
I don't
that.
Know. He didn't say it, but that was like, I don't know. That's how I might interpret it if I was hearing him. But yeah, he's definitely likes Ji-young more now.
And he says these words, just to know my heart, don't say you don't know anymore. Like, he's like, here are all the feelings. I've got them for you. So you cannot pretend that it's not true anymore.
Oh, yeah. Because I think throughout this date in and of itself, she's trying to pretend at times that she's like, yeah, you should totally date other people.
She said that just once.
And then she said, I don't know, I had some other line that was similar. It was the same sentiment though, but yeah, I could see why he felt the need to go the extra mile with that sentence. Like, yeah, which is also like, yeah, he's breaking the rules, right?
The rules are bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they really don't. Okay. All right. Oh, they get to go see his paintings now at the random bar, right? Is that what he said it was? A bar?
Yeah, it's a bar. And it feels like she talks kind of like thoughtfully about his paintings, like in terms of like subject matter, like color choices. Like he's a little surprised that she even like picks up on colored things that he did or whatever. So it seems like he enjoys her talking about it, but doesn't necessarily want to like explain every painting to her. But she kind of wants that.
I feel like I wouldn't want to put pressure on an artist like that to like explain themselves. That's just me. Like if usually like if you wanted to, there'd be like some excerpt or like description you could read to go with it, and like if they're offering something like that, maybe you can play off of it. But like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it's terrible to ask, right? Like she's trying to get to know him better, and like theoretically, like what better way than to understand how he was feeling when he was doing the thing that he loves to do. But I also get why he maybe doesn't want to talk all the details about whatever. Like it's.
I feel like a fun aspect of art would be like to make something and it means to you whatever it means to you, but then like see how other people react to it and what it makes them feel like. You know? Yeah. It's not really it's not so much like they have to understand every detail of why you did what you did. It's like it's more like, oh, is this having an impact on you now that you've seen it? Like that's more interesting, I think. Yeah. Did you were really all about describing his paintings. Did you write down the names of these paintings? And
no, I just got really disappointed because in the preview they showed them standing and talking about like standing in front of and talking about the freaking painting where the guy is fucking a wolf, and I just wanted to know what they were talking about, but they cut that out of here, so who the fuck knows their discussion around that painting.
Well, the two they show are amazing. So the first one was called When a Universe Meets Another Universe, which was, I described it as two naked bodies with no heads hugging, and the bodies are joined by the neck.
Yeah, they're like merging into each other.
Yeah. Okay.
And Ji-young was like, "Oh, are they lovers?" And he's like, "Yeah, maybe."
Yeah, he's like, I feel like he never thought about it that way, but he's cool if that's what she wants to think. Actually, no, it actually almost felt like it definitely wasn't what he was going for. I don't know. There was something about the dynamic of her trying to ask questions, like didn't seem Hushin was that into it for whatever reason. But
I think he might have just been feeling really self-conscious, because it's like one thing to like make art and put it out there, but it's a different thing to be like, I'm trying to date this person and also I have to be vulnerable by showing them my art. Like it just feels like it might be a lot.
Yeah, it did seem like he was hesitant to bring, like, why did it take this long? Unless it was like a production issue. I'm not sure, but yeah. And then another painting I look at was labeled a self-portrait, and I described it as a head made of two arms wrapping themselves together.
Yes.
Amazing.
This
is the one part he liked when she commented. It was like,
yeah. She was like, "Oh, well, you should paint a self-portrait when you're in a better mood." Like,
oh, that I didn't like that comment. No, it's almost like her telling him how to do his own art. I like that was a weird thing to say to me.
I think she was like, she wants to see the difference between like how he paints when he's upset versus like when, and I think it's also part of it is a wish to just like, well, I want you to be in a good mood. You know, I would like you to be happy.
But also, like, was it established that he was in a bad mood when he painted this?
I mean, he kind of agreed with her when she like said that. I thought like he didn't. I took disagree. It as
like he was like he didn't want to like argue about it, but
he's just like, maybe I don't know.
I don't know. To me, it's a weird thing to say. Like, hey, as an unexperienced artist myself, I think you should try this. But the comment he did like was when she said, "It looks like you," and he was like, "Yeah, it does, doesn't it?" Like most people don't say it like doesn't look like me, but because like they know it's supposed to be a self-portrait, but they're like, it doesn't look like you. But she actually thought it did look like him, so he appreciated that comment. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird about trying to be sensitive when, because like I don't know, it's like somebody makes a piece of art, like I like that's pretty serious, like part of them if they're like a real true artist. So like I don't know, I'm very I feel very sensitive about saying anything.
That's fair.
I could suggest I don't like it, or I don't know.
Well, yeah, I 100% wouldn't want to have to critique some art of someone I was on a date with. That I would not want to do.
Yeah. But if somebody was like, if I made something and it was like, even if he did say like, oh, I made this when I was in a bad mood, but he might still be like proud of it or whatever. If somebody was like, oh, I'd like to see it if you weren't in a bad mood, it's like I would be like, oh, you don't like this one, you want me to do it a different way. Like kind of is like what I would worry about them thinking.
Yeah. I don't know. There are lots of ways miscommunication can happen.
He still likes her. He's difficult. Not taking it too personally.
Yeah. I just wanted them to talk about the wolf painting. Yeah. God damn it. But anyway.
All right, time to read the fortunes. This is pretty funny.
Yes. Oh, this is great.
Ji-young's fortune is whatever, right? Like we have to talk about that one.
No, I'm gonna read it. It's great.
Oh, okay. Ji-young's is good. Oh, I didn't.
They're both anything. Great. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be difficult to meet alone because of people who want to interfere or who are against it. So you might need to be in a secret relationship, but if you prove that your relationship is serious, it won't be a problem. Like, she's in a circumstance where, like, people might want to interfere with any relationship she might be developing because they want a relationship with her instead. It's great. I love it.
Okay. I feel like I was already skeptical going into this, and then that one, it was more in line with, like, you know, the vagueness that you can apply to multiple things.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously, like disclaimer here, I think all fortune nonsense is bullshit, but this is still fun. Like,
I think, yeah, I must have just tuned it out, but you're right. I guess it does. You can get it to apply. That's pretty good. But Hushin's is way funnier.
Well, yeah, but I feel like at this point, Hushin should have been like, so we should be in a secret relationship, right? Like, I just feel like there's some jokey, flirty way he could have
already in a secret relationship with Mingyu.
Or that's true.
That's why it's so awkward for Mingyu to have to keep the secret from the guys.
Okay, that's fair. But so Hushin's is, you must avoid starting a new relationship due to a love triangle or some confusion. You might find yourself in a difficult situation.
That is so fucking specific. Oh
Except
my god.
It's not a triangle. It's got more sides than that.
But like all that matters though is the triangle between Hushin, Ji-young, and Mingyu. Like that, like in Hushin's perspective, like he only gives a shit about Mingyu. Like he's the only guy he's actually worried about. Or at least that we see him talking about. So from his perspective, it's a love triangle. I mean, like if you look at the whole house, it's gonna be more than that because there's more than 3 people in the house.
Oh, would you say that Hushin's in second place, or who would you say is in second place?
For who?
For Ji-young. For Ji-young.
Oh, for Ji-young? I mean, yeah.
Like Mingyu's first. Who's second?
Well, it's either like Gyaorui or Hushin.
I don't think it's Gyaorui.
Well, it's definitely not Ji-won.
I don't know. She said some shit before about like that date. Maybe
you're not gonna get me to say Ji-won's in second place. That's not happening.
Okay, that's fair.
I think she's better with Hushin. Yeah, I think
that's not what I asked. I asked who's in second. Who's she?
That's what I mean.
I
think she's better in second. Like she would choose Hushin if Mingyu wasn't on the show for sure.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
And then yeah, you're right. Maybe she would like Ji-won more than Gyaorui. I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
But then she says to him, despite the fact that they've just talked about how he was furious when she said he was the most comfortable, she chooses to say, I really feel like myself when I'm with you. my true self comes out, which I don't know if that's
gotta be a good thing, right?
You would hope so, but it sounds awfully similar to comfortable with, which she knows he did not like that. So I don't know. She chose to say it like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, because he says, "Do you feel comfortable again?" And then she tries to say like, "That's not how I feel. It's not that. I think my true personality comes out a lot."
Yeah.
I think, what does she mean by that? Like, I think my true personality comes out a lot, as if to like double, or like to double back and be like, "Oh, my true personality comes out with a lot of times." So it's not that meaningful what I just said.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know
that she was doing that.
I think my true personality comes out a lot.
Like with him is specifically what she's saying. It comes out a lot with him.
You think she's just saying the same thing twice?
Yeah,
again?
Yeah.
She's just saying it again. Okay. I thought she was like, it was with like, that's not how I feel. It's not that. And then she was trying to like retrace her steps and be like, my true personality comes out a lot. It's not like you're the only one that makes it happen. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. No. You know, I don't know.
I think she's just trying to say it a little differently to be like, it's not that I'm comfortable with you and that's a bad thing. It's like I can be my authentic self with you.
Which is the definition of comfortable? I don't know.
Well, we don't know what definition they're rocking for this comfortable nonsense half the time. It can't be the same thing we use because it's comfort should be a good thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, because we talked about like what's Jimin's true self, but like, do we believe Jimin's true self is like how she acted with Jiwon? But or if she was acting that way because she was uncomfortable, but being uncomfortable can't be one's true self, right? That can't be right.
Well, I don't know that I ever met her true self. I just meant that's what she's like when she's on a date with someone she wants to be on with.
Yeah. But is it possible to be uncomfortable and be your true self?
Yes.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. All of this.
I gotta take that thing she said to him at the end of this date to be a good sign for Hushin.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't. He's still like number 2, but at least he's number 2. You know,
yeah,
that's solid number 2.
If he is number 2, like she is, you know, like she's not flirting with him or having a good time with him, but maybe giving some hints that he might not be number 1. So she's not totally just like acting like he's number 1. I don't think either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she's also not cutting him off. Yeah. I think it's fair to say he's number 2. All right, back at the house.
And also in the past, I think this is the previous day. It's a flashback or something.
This is just to set up Yisu and Mingyu going on the date. I think it's the same. They're going to date on the same day that we just saw with Jiyoung and Hushin.
But basically, Yisu creeps up the stairs, calls Mingyu out of his room because the other guys are in there, and they talk about what time they're going to meet because they're meeting for dinner. And he is trying to get them to meet earlier. So theoretically, they can spend more time together. He's like, what about before that? You know, like, don't have to just get dinner.
You think he's like actively trying to make the date as long
he's actively trying to turn it into something more than just dinner, is what it sounds like.
Oh, okay. I mean, his whole day's open, so he might just be like, what's the earliest you can meet? I don't know. I see what you're saying. I don't know. She certainly isn't like clearing up her entire schedule for this date, right? Like she's like meeting a friend, ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she's got other shit going on. That's fine. She's got a full life.
Yeah, it's not work though. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to gauge. I don't really know where Yisu's at in the show. I don't know what's going on.
Where she's at is she wants to go out with this vampire boy. Is where she's at, and she's making it happen.
But this isn't like this moment. What's weird about this moment is like she isn't asking him out in this moment, right? Like they've already talked about something. And then they're just like confirming what they're doing.
I think so.
Mingyu's like, oh, what are we doing? And then she's like, we're having dinner. Like, that's all I know. And ultimately, I think that's all they do because
that's all we see.
They meet late enough and that's all we see. But again, anything Mingyu does at this point is going to be heavily edited out. So I don't know. Because then we just cut to them on the same night, I believe, that we just watched with Hushin and Jiyoung. They're at a restaurant.
Yeah. And at first, it seems like they're not saying a lot, and I'm like, maybe this is that uncomfortable feeling he was looking for. I don't know, because it seems like just awkward for a while.
That Mingyu is looking for? He's looking for an uncomfortable feeling? Oh, yeah. That was his like mental gymnastics of like explaining why he was unsuccessful with Jimin.
I know, it was a joke.
Oh, okay. Didn't sound like a joke. You're really Hushin at me right now. What's a joke? What's not a joke?
Everything's a joke. And then we hear a story about how her eye has been twitching. And we get a flashback where he bought some magnesium for her to take for her eye twitch.
Yeah, did he buy it for her? Do we know that? Do we believe in this?
Why not?
Because it looks like he got a package, opened it, took some pills himself, and then was like, oh, maybe you should take these too.
Did he? It looked like he opened a package and gave her some pills. I don't know. Okay.
To me, it didn't, like, they were really like, oh, wow, he got this for her. But then I was like, I don't know. I feel like he might just be somebody that gets supplements and then decided to share them.
Either way, trying to take care of her ailment. Like, lots of people are out here buying stuff for people because they feel bad. So,
But to me, it just felt like a really hard sell of like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Like we're kind of like manipulating the facts here, but
I mean, that's a big coincidence though. Like she gets a twitch that would be helped with the thing that he ordered that then they talk about on the date as still an issue she's dealing with. Like, I don't know, man. You might be over paranoid now about this edit.
I think what confused me is he says like, do you want some magnesium? As if to say like, oh, I have these if you want to try them, is like how I interpret it. But I guess he might just have not told her that he was getting them.
And maybe didn't want the pressure of, hey, I bought you these drugs. Like, he's just offering it in a nice, kind way.
Okay. I took it as a like, okay, we're getting a weird interpretation of this as like some big meaning, but it didn't feel like that much. This is kind of how I felt about it.
Okay.
Again, everything that involves Mingyu, you have to like look at it with a grain of salt because it's we know the show's objective right now.
Do we? I don't know. Who knows?
The objective of the show is to make Mingyu's decision a climactic moment of the season. So
I haven't seen the last episode, so I don't know. Maybe not. I'm open to something else.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in all likelihood, yes. But like, who knows?
I mean, I'm saying it as a fact, but like, of course, they could do whatever they want. But if this is a normal TV show, probably 99.9% chance that is what the show's gonna do at the end. Yeah, but then the show makes them seem super awkward together at the start. That's what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
I guess Yisu does say something like, "Oh, why am I so shy?" all of a sudden, or something like that.
Yeah.
So she is like kind of establishing that.
But then the rest of this is her just pretty much asking very direct questions.
Yeah.
And she asked about what the guys talked about when they went out drinking.
He says some guys have one person they're interested in, other guys have two girls they're interested in. He was like kind of talking about that in the context of the number one.
Yeah. He's saying like we talked about our ones and our twos and who everybody's interested in now. And he thinks that there are some people who are still curious about two people. And she's like, and you only have one left? And he says, well, and never finishes it. And then she just starts talking again.
Except he might finish it, is what
Yeah.
They make him seem like he literally never answers questions. Like that can't be true, right? Like no matter, even if he is like, dodgy with questions, like there's no way he got away with not answering that besides well ... Like he had to have said something else.
Yeah.
Like but basically what he's saying is like what we saw, it's like, okay, he thinks if he's telling the truth, it's like, okay, he thinks Bushin likes two people and everybody else likes Ji-yeon, right? Like that's what I'm saying, like including himself.
Maybe he's including himself and still being curious about two people.
Maybe, yeah. But if he was curious in two people, don't you think we would have seen how he answered this question?
I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe he really truly never answers questions. I don't know.
It's hard to say. That just can't be.
Yeah, I don't know. He does have a history of just like being real vague.
Yeah, because that's been his edit the entire season. Maybe.
I mean, we do have people commenting on how he is vague on a couple different circumstances,
Yeah. I don't
that's
think
not entirely him being edited in that way.
Up until now, I don't think it was as significant as it is in this episode. But in this episode, it's like, there's no way. There's no way we're getting the full conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yisu says, how did you feel on the first date with me? And he says, I really liked it. It was really fun. Nothing more than that.
No, he says he thought that she'd be hard to get close to and that she seemed cold, but he has noticed other qualities about her since, and he really liked it.
Yeah, the phrasing at the end was this for the subtitle was like, I think I really liked it. Which is odd to put I think in front of that.
That's true. And then she asks when he said during the truth or drink game that he might change his mind. She asks about that. And he says it's hard to assess his feelings objectively every day.
What a great sentence.
He feels a lot of emotions, and we keep seeing each other too.
And we all keep seeing each other too. Yeah. Like everybody in the house.
Yeah. But so that means that he's still not sure, right? Like,
not really. I mean, he's unsure about his answer during the truth game, right?
Is he?
Like that. I mean, like that's could be how he's answering this, because the question is like, you thought you could change your mind during the truth game, and he's like it's hard to assess his feelings on whether or not he could possibly change his mind. Is that not how he could be answering this question? I don't know.
That seems like a weird way to answer it. Like the root of what he'd be changing his mind about is who he's picking, which is from his feelings, right? Like I think he's talking about his feelings for whoever he has feelings for.
If he is on Ji-yeon, like I'm saying though, it doesn't totally add up though, because it's like, when did he go? If at the time of the truth game, it felt like very recent that he realized like the Jimin thing might not be working.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it does make more sense if he's legitimately on the fence between two people, maybe, and one of them's definitely Ji-yeon, and then maybe the show just doesn't want to reveal who the second person is, and that's why they're not showing it. I don't know. It's goofy. I guess even Ji-yeon's not even definite. I've made it in my head that it's like that, but actually, yeah, like the show just doesn't want us to know anything, even if it is two people. But like, you would think like, oh, a choice between two people, like that's an interesting ending to the show. But like, maybe they want it to be like, oh, he might be choosing any of three people by the time this edit comes around. It might be three people or four people. Jumi's going to get back in the mix somehow. They want it to be a truly, who is this going to be? It could be anybody kind of moment.
But the part of this where he says we all keep seeing each other too feels more like this might link up with Jimin feelings. Like maybe he's wanting to move on from that, but like having to see her all the time is still keeping that shit alive for him. So I would feel like Jimin's more in the running than not.
That's a good read. Yeah. Well, even if like maybe his brain is saying like,
this isn't gonna work.
She doesn't really like me, but it's like it's still affecting him every day to see Jimin, knowing how he feels or felt or whatever he's currently feeling. Right. So that would make sense, yeah. And then Yisu like slightly changes the question to, "Have you had romantic feelings since you've been here?" He's like, "Yes," and I wrote, "Of course."
It's like, "Doi, yeah."
But then she leads it into, "So do you feel that way with me?" Mingyu says, "Why do you ask?"
Wait, I thought it was, so who did you feel that way with?
Oh, I thought she said, do you feel that way with me? I thought it was more formal or more upfront about it.
No, because then the following question is, when did you feel that way with me? Question. Like it was, when did you feel that way as a question, and also with me as a question. So I think it's like, so who did you feel that way with? And then he's like, why do you ask? And then he does not answer the when did you feel that way or the with me question.
Have you had romantic feelings since you've been here? Yes. So whom do you feel that way with? Oh, wow, you're right. I literally have this in quotes in my notes. Maybe the translation legitimately got changed because I watched this so earlier.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Because they're always editing it.
If I put it in quotes in my notes, it's like I directly quoted it usually.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. So so she eventually says, when did you feel that way with me? Or did that happen?
She says, when did you feel that way? And that's a question. But also she tacks on with me as like an addendum to the question. Oh. So like, when did you feel that way? Like, also, did you feel that way with me?
My notes are all out of whack for this story. Tell me what happens in the scene. I don't know.
I mean, I have nothing after that because he does not answer. Yeah.
Yeah, they edit him out. Okay. Yeah. They just really, I guess that's what it is. They just really want us to think like as many girls as possible are in play still. That kind of lines up with what they're going for here,
I guess. But then she says some stuff that also doesn't make sense to me. She tells him that he's very close to her type personality wise, but she still thinks she should wait and see, and that she tends to study people for a long time. Yeah. So like,
this to me,
what?
This to me is like, okay, Mingyu said he's into a girl or other girls more than her, or gave that sentiment off, and then she's like
pulling back and being like, yeah,
you are close to my type, so I like you, but I'm still gonna wait and see. Like, even if you really, really liked me, I wasn't gonna like jump into anything.
Okay, yeah, that kind of does make sense.
So I don't know. It's just so unlikely to me that like Yisu has made such a strong impression that like she could not have had such a strong impact. I don't think.
I feel like crazier things have happened.
I do not think anything like that has ever happened. Like this would be actually, I wouldn't think it's that crazy. Like if this was the first season of a Korean reality dating show I watched, but based on every season of these shows I've watched, like almost everybody gets attached to somebody that was there in the beginning, and the game changers like have no chance. I've never seen a game changer do anything.
I mean, this is still gonna like prove your point in the end, but like the first season of Singles Inferno, there was the like very popular girl who had the puppy boy from the beginning, and then but then the game changer showed up and she was into him hard, like
according to the edit. Yeah,
like she was very much like excited to go on dates with him. So like even though she did not ultimately pick him, there is still a like, oh, this new shiny hot person has a strong appeal is a thing that could happen. So like he might be experiencing that right now. Doesn't mean he's gonna pick her, but it could look like that for a little while.
Yeah, I mean that's the first season I ever watched of these shows, so
I think it happens in the second season too, with the hot guy game changer in that one is also like has a big draw from.
Yeah, and neither of them get picked in the end.
I know, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that when they show up, but I mean right now, like he could be really drawn to her. Because she's the new hot girl, like there's room for that. Doesn't mean he's gonna pick her, but that could be happening right now.
The edit can do whatever they want with making you seem super into them or whatever, and they can use the game changer for whatever narrative they're doing. I just have not seen the game changer actually be the decision in the end ever. So
yeah,
and that's at the end of the show when they had the entire rest of the show. This is like 4 days since she's been here, so I just cannot imagine that Mingyu is that invested in Yisu at this point, which is what the show is trying to tell us to some degree here. But
I don't think they're pushing it super hard, but at least there's an amount of he's enjoying going on some dates with her, I guess, and spending some not date time together. Like I think that's valid.
Not the most exciting dates we've seen, these two, but
yeah, but
they could be enjoying us in a way that we're not seeing.
Yeah, exactly. Like dates can be good but not fun to watch.
Yeah, but there's something really goofy about how this whole date was edited as well. Yeah, what are we not seeing? That's the question.
Yeah,
that we're gonna have to try to figure out the rest of the season, I think. what are we not seeing specifically with respect to Mingyu more than anything else? The only other mystery on the show really is Hushin, right?
The Hushin Jimin
Hushin's
connection,
like the B story, but it's still like wrapped up in the A story.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's wrapped up in the A story because they're connected by Hushin's options, but
yeah,
like Hushin and Jimin could still be a thing. Like that could be the other successful
yeah.
match that we get at the end. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Back at the house.
Basically, everybody except for Hushin and Ji-young are like hanging out, going, "When are they coming home?"
Yeah, Yisu and Mingyu are like already home from their date.
Yeah.
Which we assume was the same night. Yeah, Gyaorei, why won't they come home? And Jimin's like, are you jealous? Again, Jimin's like, they're just like teasing Gyaorei for his like obvious emotions and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Everyone has to know what Gyaorei feels now, right? Like this is...
Yeah, it's no surprise.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's 1:30 in the morning when Hushin and Ji-young finally stroll in. Everybody comes over to greet them / shame them for staying out so late.
Yeah.
But Jimin does not come out, so the show is trying to make us think she's super jealous right now.
The show makes Jimin look really jealous. And we got a flashback to day 16. This is the Sunday after the weekend dates. Oh, we got a Jimin and Hushin one-on-one. That's what this is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jimin says, I thought you would be going on a date too. I think it would have been awkward if you had come home from a date. These are like different things that Jimin is saying in this.
Yeah.
I would have felt awkward. I would have felt uncomfortable talking to you. Now, is this legitimate, Sarah, or is she just saying things again?
Okay, but here's the thing. The thing that Hushin says in response to this is like, because I may have changed my mind? Like, he's trying to clarify what she means. So, like, that implies that there's something going on with them, right? Like some position from him to change from, you know? Because he's asking, would you be uncomfortable talking to me after a date because you'd think that I was into somebody else instead of you now? Basically, it's kind of what he's asking, if that's what she meant. So that like feels like that's actual evidence that they think at least something's going on between them.
Unless the context is just like we are the people that dated previously. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that could be
no,
right.
Because she specifically says like if you came home from a date with Jumi, it would be uncomfortable for me to talk to you. Like she even uses them as the exact example.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, I got that. I wrote down what Jimin wrote down, but I didn't write anything Hushin said. I don't know why. But yeah, I see what you're saying. So you think this is her being genuine and not like, I don't know. You say like, if she says this to Mingyu, it doesn't mean anything. If she says it to Hushin, though, does it mean anything in your opinion?
No, but I mean, she doesn't say something. I guess she does kind of say she was jealous about something at some point.
She says the same sentiment pretty much. Like, when I saw you come back from a date, I was jealous. And then this is like hasn't happened yet, and she's just like, theoretically, if you came back from a date, I'd be jealous.
Yeah, but for me, the important part isn't anything she says; is that Hushin sort of talks about it from this place of like,
oh well, that's not what there is. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, from your perception of Jimin and what her words mean, does this mean anything?
I think it does, just because like I've seen her on a date with Hushin, and it's different from a date with Mingyu, and because she's texted him a bunch of times.
Yeah, the texting is weird.
She's actually picked him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's picked her and that he says this thing that indicates that there is something between, like, I think that there is actually something between them.
Okay.
And that they have at least discussed it enough to acknowledge that both of them like are interested in each other on some level.
Okay.
But I don't know why we're not seeing any of it.
Okay, I accept that. I can't wait to get to my theory about these fucking texts. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
This is a really good theory. It explains so much of my frustration and confusion if it's even partially true. Okay.
All
right, real time though. Jian and Hushin are hanging out in the playroom. Just them again for now, or from the way they start this.
Yeah, this is like after their date. It's late at night. They're just sitting there.
I was gonna say some like really negative shit about Jiwon in this scene.
Okay.
Because he like rolls in and is like pulling like the shit that I didn't like that like Jumi was saying. It was like, didn't you come home too late? And I was waiting for you forever. And then they just show him like leave after saying that.
Yeah.
He says, you cheated. You came home too late. Like none of anything he said seemed like it was in a funny way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like literally just like shaming her for going on a date is what it felt like. But then I thought to myself, like, oh, maybe this is like the one night this week that Jiwon could have done something with her, and then he just got like sniped out like of the situation.
Yeah.
Maybe he's more like saying, Hushin, you cheated. not
yeah, maybe
he's talking more to Hushin than he is Ji-young, even though it seems like he's addressing Ji-young in the room, but
yeah,
maybe it's more of a message for Hushin than it is for Ji-young.
Yeah, I feel like the you cheated, you stay out so late was for Hushin, you know?
Oh, you think so? Okay.
I think that part was for Hushin.
It's still like not a good look, but and if he's upset about the time he actually has to participate in the show, I can understand where he's coming from more. But then Jiwon leaves. He goes to bed.
Yes.
He's got to get up early, probably. That's my other thought. Like he could like have stayed up with them and talked if he was really interested in her, but like maybe he doesn't have a choice. He has to go to bed.
Right.
And then we get a flashback. You must have loved this flashback, Sarah, to like 10 minutes ago. Or something.
So
it's weird that it's even out of order.
Yeah.
But Hushin is like talking to Mingyu, and they're literally talking about nothing. It was just like set up the fact that like Hushin was talking to Mingyu before Ji-young came to talk to Hushin, or came into the room basically. Right? They didn't talk about anything important.
I mean, they kind of did. He said that Hushin was talking about how he and Ji-young are like in sync on a lot of stuff, and that he thought he'd feel better after the date.
Oh, okay.
And then Mingyu like asks if it complicates things. Like, so they are like talking about her.
For us though, it's information we already had. Like we already know that was his stance. That's what he said to Ji-young earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But from Ji-young's perspective, she starts asking him like, "Oh, what were you talking about with Mingyu when I came in? What were you talking about with him?" Like she wants to know what Mingyu is saying. Kind of is right.
Yeah.
because then he's just kind of like, oh, he couldn't even think of anything important that they said that he would need to tell her. Is kind of how I took it. Like they weren't really talking for that long, it seemed. And then Hushin just goes into this like full on like defeated mode, in my opinion, where he's just like out loud, he's just like, in what way is he better than me?
But then he lists the way he's better, which is like, I am 1 centimeter taller than him.
Yep.
And my shoulders are wider.
Height info. That was almost like, we don't know how tall, but sure, I think we might know how tall Hushin is, actually. I could do with it.
Yeah, I think when he showed up, he said how tall he was.
So they're pretty close, though, 1 centimeter.
Mm-hmm.
My shoulders are wider. Again, it's like, it's a joke, but also like he is defeated right now. Like, it's not. Yeah. I assume he knows that these things don't matter. He's just saying them as a joke, but he is like kind of wants Ji-young to say like, why do you like this guy, right? Like,
yeah. But then like on top of all that, we get Jimin in that little get ready room that is nearby with the door open, theoretically hearing them, and at some point she calls out and says goodnight to them and then goes to sleep. So like, was she also listening? Like, did she also hear all this nonsense?
Oh,
solid maybe.
Okay. I'm in with this. Now I'm in on this. Okay, Jimin and Hushin is legitimate. Okay, I think what you just pointed out is actually more meaningful than any of the flashback conversations. Because to me it's like, okay, why would they be showing Jimin overhearing this?
Yeah.
In this scene if it didn't mean something. Although we did have a scene earlier where like she was overhearing somebody, so they might have just showed it to us to make us think she was overhearing this, but she might not have been. I don't know.
Yeah, we do not have any indication that she actually did, except like the proximity means that she might have.
Yeah, okay. But she didn't do the move of like being like, hey, I can hear you guys talk like she did last time.
I mean, in a way, her calling out and saying goodnight to them while she's going to sleep is like saying like, I am here. I know you guys are here. And then, you know, like.
Oh, yeah. Did she go to bed right after she told Ji-won and Mingyu also?
I do not recall.
She might have, yeah. Okay. Hushin says to Ji-yeon, or I don't even know if he's talking to her, just like she's in the room and he's talking out loud at this point, but he's like, did I fall for you too quickly, or are you too attractive? Again, it's like a joke, but it's like, yeah. He's a sad boy.
He is, yes, he is in his feelings right now. And then he's like, I should go paint and then go to sleep.
Wasn't one of the comments that probably triggered him was like Ji-won and other people are like saying to them like, didn't you get back too late? Like types of things. And then she actually says to she says to Mingyu when she comes in the room with Hushin there, like, didn't you come back too early? Or something like that. Oh yeah,
she's like, she asks why they came home so soon.
Yeah, because like she's thinking about him, I guess, is like,
yeah, like
interpretation Hushin is supposed to be having.
Or like, didn't you having. like trying to get a feel on how the date they had?
Yeah,
was,
exactly,
you know?
Exactly. Let's ask Mingyu about his date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote Ji-won and Hushin both seemed like they're admitting defeat in this scene, but we'll see.
Yes.
They're like, God damn it. What could I have done differently? Was there ever a chance?
Well, for Ji-won, probably not. But yeah, Hushin says he's going to paint and go to sleep, and she tells him to use pastel colors because all his paintings are too dark. And he says, I hope I can on the final day, because our sad boy is very dramatic. And that's it. That's the end.
Do you think these guys are being too dramatic, or are you you're not gonna delegitimize their feelings or whatever?
I mean, if they feel some sort of way, they feel some sort of way. Who am I to say whatever? I guess, you know, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, Ji-young does seem pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna take anything away from her, but to be like, you think it'd like be easier when you're in a situation where like, oh, there's like other girls that also like me in this like the same house I'm living in, but
except all the girls like Mingyu, and also like this
that's
weird
not true, though.
Like
Jimin theoretically likes both of them more than Mingyu. I don't know,
but that's not who Ji-won wants. But I mean, there's a weird like pressure cooker situation of being on a show like this, you know, like you're living with these people, there's a time limit you have to worry about, you're like being filmed all the time. It's a weird scenario. Feelings run more extreme than they would in the normal world.
Yeah, it's hard to identify with the experience, but I wrote in my notes, it really feels like these guys are acting like Ji-yeon is like the last woman on Earth. Like they are so devastated.
It's also like 2-3 in the morning by this point. They've probably been drinking. They're all a little tired and loopy and weird. You know how it gets.
Okay. All right. Tell me the text results, Sarah. I did not watch it again. Staying true to that for the rest of the season, I think.
I kind of zoned out during this time, but I wrote down who picked who. So, okay. Yisu picked Mingyu. Jumi picked Gyore. Jiwon picked Ji-young. Gyore picked Ji-young. Mingyu picked Yisu. Hushin picked Ji-young. Jimin picked Hushin. And Ji-young picked Mingyu.
Girls did not change. Mingyu changed back to Yisu. Previously went to Jumi for some reason.
Because he was feeling better after their date.
And then Hushin switched to Ji-young.
Okay.
You want to hear my
conspiracy theory time? Yeah, let's go.
Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I've had several moments on this show where I'm like, no fucking way these fucking hosts picked, like, like last episode, like, they got him right. Like, they got that Mingyu was going to switch to Jumi. And they also just saw that Ji-young date, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's
my theory. Because I don't want to believe that the hosts are disingenuous with the segment, like they're being actors. Like, I don't think that doesn't seem right to me, despite me complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what is possible. And, if I was running this show, I think I might do this because it creates more suspense.
Have the host pick and then pretend it's what really happened?
Yes, exactly.
I don't know, man.
And they don't do it. They don't do it every time, but it's. I think you have to do that.
I don't know.
So you edit the show. This is what you do. You edit the show in a way where you make it confusing enough that they will get it. They are bound to get it wrong sometimes.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get it wrong, you say they got it right.
But sometimes they've gotten it really wrong.
One time they got it really wrong. And I haven't gone back and looked at every episode and said okay, this is why they had to get it wrong here or whatever.
Okay.
I haven't done this, but I'm just saying theoretically, this would make a lot of sense if this is how the show worked. Because
why?
So you edit, however, then they make whatever guess, and then whatever just is best for the narrative of the show, you either say they got it right or wrong based off that. Because, and I don't know if this is partially why they stop letting them text each other, because when they text each other, there's a sense of or at least we're seeing the text, they kind of
we weren't even always seeing the text.
Yeah, we weren't even always seeing the text. That's true.
But we're seeing sort of the outcome of people getting texted.
Yeah,
theoretically,
which is also weird. Yeah, and it's not even that hard if they wanted to just pretend that two people text each other. They just show them on their phone and then they throw the graphic on the screen. So it's not that hard either to do it while they're texting. But let's just say it feels like Mingyu has someone in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is dating people, and we just said before, we don't understand the prompt of the show, of this at this phase of the show. Why are they picking a certain person? What's the prompt that they're answering? But doesn't it just seem insane that Mingyu would have never texted Ji-young? Or if Mingyu is the main character who's making a decision at the end of the show, at some point in the show, just based on how these shows work, they should get to a point in the show where they're picking the person that they're going to pick all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And the show wouldn't have any suspense if that was the case, right? So, and if they're showing us the results every episode, at some point you just be oh, well, they're answering the question the way it's going to be at the end. So there's no suspense in that. So I just think, especially for the main character of the show, whoever they decided the main character was, the show is very incentivized to just lie in this segment of what's going on.
Okay.
They're doing enough of a job in the edit to get the host to get it wrong, so they're at least making it vague enough from that sense, because they get all these right. I'm not crazy. They get all this shit right again.
Yeah, they got this all right. Let me devil's advocate for a moment. Okay. So the advantages that the hosts have over us are they're Korean. They know the culture. there's probably stuff we are always missing from that level, right? And they don't have weird translations or whatever in their way. So smoother on that front. They do also like have to come to a consensus. So like I feel there's something about like the average of them all together that just kind of improves their odds a little bit. I think if this is something they continuously did, somebody on some season of this show or whatever other show might do this would be like, I didn't text that person and we know about it on the internet. Like it feels too risky to just straight up lie.
I mean, I'm sure they have like a non-disclosure for a certain amount of time, and these shows haven't been around long enough.
Yeah, but people don't always like do the right thing according to contracts.
I'm not even saying this from a perspective like, oh, this is fucked up that they do this. I'm just saying like this makes a lot of sense that they would do this. Like, like if I was on the show and they did this to me, like it doesn't actually matter to me that they lied about what I actually was doing throughout the show. If ultimately like I picked the girl I wanted in the end or whatever, and it worked out how it worked out. It doesn't actually matter that the show is lying about this. They're just lying to the audience to make a story.
Yeah, which is why I would think that anybody on it wouldn't think it was a big deal to then tell people that, oh yeah, they changed that. Like I just feel like it would come out or something. Like it just seems too weird.
For something that doesn't make you look bad or whatever, and doesn't change your outcome on the show, like there's no reason for you to like risk like breaking your non-disclosure.
Well, that's assuming that this is even a thing that they cover it. Like I don't know. I don't know that I buy it. It seems like a weird choice to make. Like why even do the text thing then? Like just don't do this part of the show. Like it's
Oh, I agree with that. But this helps fool the audience, right? And it's not that I don't believe the hosts are fooling us. I don't think they're hired to be actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens like that maybe this season like these hosts are like getting fooled and the show is just letting them be right. I don't know.
Okay, well,
of course
season 2 all the way to the end, right?
Yeah.
Did the end, however many texts, like really just pinpoint who they picked? Did it feel like the person who made a choice, like their texts didn't line up, or?
I felt like the person who had to make the choice, their texts like kind of they did like bounce back and forth between two girls in a weird way that I couldn't really follow. And again, okay. Like more often than not, the host got it right. So it's like super extreme. So this is what I'll say. I'm putting this out here right now.
Okay.
Let's say Mingyu picks Ji-young at the end of the show.
Yeah.
It's insane to me that for the last however many episodes, he has not messaged Ji-young, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I will say that like who we're shown he's spending his extra time with lines up with who he texts.
Yeah, because the show is
like, shows us that.
In my scenario, like, the show is trying to make it feasible that you might guess this, but
you think you would throw in some Ji-young there?
No, because if Ji-young's the real answer, you're trying to like
you don't want it to come completely out of nowhere. You want her to be one of the feasible options.
It's not. Yeah, but I think that's what they're kind of doing right now. Like Ji-young seems right, and then they have to put a lot into fooling us. So it's like they have to heavy go the way. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense to me if that's how you have to do it. Like it just seems so likely that because they do this reveal every episode, it's so likely to me that it's just a spoiler if they did it honestly. Like on Singles Inferno, they do this on like day 1 and then or day 2.
Yeah, they do it like maybe twice the whole time. Yeah.
The fooling you is like only based on how they try to like do the music of certain scenes and stuff like that. But they don't. This segment like isn't ingrained into like the broadcast of the show. So I don't know.
I just feel like they could change this. Like they could just have them stop texting earlier, or
less
frequently, or just remove
It's such a good tool for telling a story and creating suspense. So
is it because it mostly just makes me angry?
Well, yeah.
But like if it, like they're not like okay, maybe the Mingyu Yisu text things are lining up with the edit we're getting, but the Hushin Jimin texts are not lining up with that. They're not showing us anything for that except for like 2 scenes today, and he didn't even pick her today.
Yeah. I agree. It's weird.
I don't entirely buy this theory of yours. It's interesting and maybe possibly what's happening, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'll be paying. I'm not gonna watch the segments anymore, but I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to like when, or I'm gonna try to remember or go back in my notes for like the last episode and see like, okay, based on the text, when did this choice get made?
Okay.
And like the show always has the excuse of like, oh, they were going back and forth, so it's possible like maybe Mingyu is on the fence, but like he's really on the fence between Yisu and Jumi. Like, is that the reality? Am I supposed to believe that's the real story of the text?
You're supposed to believe that he had such a relaxing day with Jumi, and it really soothed his soul that he picked her, and he will never pick her again.
I guess so. All right. Well, somebody out there. I don't know. We've talked so much about hating this segment. I don't know if we've gotten a lot of comments on it. Maybe people don't hate this segment as much as we do.
Yeah.
That's what we need to know this time. Like, people tell us.
Do you like it?
Do you share our frustrations with this segment or not? I think we've heard people say the segment is dumb and they don't care about it, but I don't know if like we've gotten like people that are angry. Like I like no, like something is just off about the whole thing. It's not just that it's boring. It's like there's something manipulative about it. That's how I feel.
Okay. Well, everybody weigh in.
See if anybody else feels about that. All right.
Yeah, you think things are weird? Let us know.
Yeah. All right, Sarah. Current thoughts about where things are in the show. You do agree that like you push back on me jokingly, I think, but you do agree Mingyu's pick is the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote down. I'm waiting for the G-Man storyline come back around. Doesn't have to be the end, like the end result, but like it's in the mix of what the edit is going for, I think. All right, I'm planting my flag in Ji-young right now. I'm doing it.
As in Mingyu's gonna pick Ji-young.
Yeah. I'm gonna plant my flag in that. Which goes against, I'm just gonna go all in on my conspiracy theory. It goes against the textings.
Okay.
But I'm invested in this who Ji-won was pointing at clip.
Okay.
And just
Bold
the weirdness of the awkwardness of the Yisu stuff and the G-Min stuff at this point also feels kind of a little awkward, but I was waiting to really plant my flag because I was hoping the G-Min stuff would come back around, but earlier than later. But
yeah, okay.
Because I would think that he would pick G-Min in the end, but I'm more thinking like, oh, she's not going to pick him.
Oh yeah, she's not going to pick him.
And then like that can't be the choice of the main character of the show, is like somebody that doesn't end up in a couple, right? Like, so
I mean, they can only do so much if these people all fail to make a couple.
No, but you would just choose somebody else. Oh, if they all fail to make a couple. That's possible, I guess, right?
Like, you could have a whole dud of a season where nobody couples up.
Oh, nobody picks anybody. Okay.
Or people couple up, but they've been boring as fuck the whole season. Like,
nah, they would still make the season all about them. Somehow, some way, they would do it.
Okay. I don't know. It's possible that people could be really boring.
Unless it was G1, maybe they couldn't do
it, but... Okay. Yeah, see, he's never in the house. Like, how do you make a whole story around him? Like...
Yeah, that's the other big thing. It's like I'm just not seeing Ji-Min getting back to Mingyu somehow, and then Mingyu... I just think Mingyu has to pick somebody that's going to pick him, and that just seems like Ji-young now. So I'm planting my flag in Ji-young.
I'm not going to make a prediction at this point.
Oh, no fun. All right.
No, because like I honestly do not trust Mingyu to make reasonable decisions about women.
This isn't about Mingyu. This is just an edit read.
Okay.
That's what it is. You don't want to make an edit read.
It seems less fun right now.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what I want to happen. I want Ji-young and Hushin to end up together. I think that would be fun.
Oh, you don't like my prediction because of
that? I mean, you're probably right. I don't know. I like different pairings, I think. You know?
That's what's also weird. Like, it feels like they could have made Ji-young the main character if they wanted to, right? Because she's like equally as popular as Mingyu.
Arguably more popular than him. Like, literally all the guys have picked her.
Yeah, and you would think that'd be more interesting. And what's weird is like you would think that it would be, or I guess, like, if you think about it, like, both of them have a pretty similar story, except we're just being allowed to see how Jiyeon is thinking, right? And we're not seeing what Mingyu is thinking. But, like, possibly they could have done it the other way around. And maybe it's because they're gonna choose each other, like they just picked one.
No, I think they picked Mingyu because he's got options, and they had all that cute as fuck content from the beginning with him and Jimin on dates.
Oh, just from the beginning. It might just also be an easier edit, just because he's naturally vague and ambiguous,
evasive. Yes.
Or yeah, he probably has more moments where they can use it and make him seem like he's being vague, even if he ultimately does answer the question later. But they just edit that out. Whereas maybe Jiyoung was a little too open with making it clear, and it would have been harder to edit that way.
And I mean, I still think it really, like, ultimately is like Mingyu and Jimin had really cute dates. Jiyoung and Gyeore had whatever dates. Like, that was what she was doing at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that's totally fair too. Yeah.
And, like, Gyeore dates are kind of boring, so, gonna focus on Mingyu instead.
But the Jiyoung dates, like, Jiyoung is good on dates, but maybe the other guys are kind of not. I mean, Hushin's also good on dates. But Hushin
he wasn't at the very beginning. Yeah.
Oh, maybe just Hushin coming late. That was the deciding factor. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And, like,
I'm in on this.
Okay.
Plant my flag. You've convinced me, Sarah.
That's weird. I wasn't trying.
You gave me even more confidence somehow.
All right, you're probably right, but I don't want to make a decision yet. So
I still am excited to see the attempt at making me feel like it's Jimin again, and then maybe thinking it's Jimin again.
Oh, I don't want that, because if that is a thing that is possible, it means he's gonna switch immediately to focusing on her again, right? Like, right?
I don't know. Like, that might be the ultimate arc. Like, she does switch back, and then he still picks Jiyeon or something. I don't know, somehow.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? Oh, I think I don't believe that angle. I think it's very possible. And by very possible, I mean, like, 25% chance.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I love talking about edit. Maybe other people will hate this episode, but we're getting to that. We're getting to that sweet, like, over halfway mark point where you can really kind of start piecing things together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forget at what point in Singles Inferno I started putting shit together, but it felt like a similar time in the seasons. But yeah, let us know. Let us know if you think I'm fucking insane.
Or, just if you have a slightly different opinion.
Or just say who you think he's going to pick. Plant your flag. I'm out here planting my flag. Everybody plant your flag.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, the rest of you do.
All right, that's the end of episode 10. We did it.
Woo. No, that's the end of episode 9.
Oh, yeah. And I wrote my notes to start episode 10. That's the end of episode 9. Okay, we're back. And we are actually not going to talk about episode 10 right now.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. We will get to it eventually. Yeah, I had a bit of a family situation come up this week. Nothing to worry about, but something that needed my time and energy. So we did not have time to record episode 10 this week. And because of that, we will be skipping again the Transit Love week in order to. I think it's better for the podcast that we keep up with Heart Signal 4 since it's airing as we go. So we're gonna try to get back on track and record Heart Signal 4 episodes 10 and 11 for next week, and then this actually works out for us because 2 weeks from now we're actually going to be on vacation. Sarah and I
you're
both
on vacation. I'm going on a work trip, but okay. You're gonna have more fun than I.
Is it not a little bit of a vacation, that work trip, or no?
I mean,
you
there's
more or less.
I work differently. I do work less. I work a lot less on the work trip.
Yeah.
But
you have to be places, but you don't have to actively.
I have to be social and shit. It's very difficult for me.
Yeah. I got you. Okay. But 2 weeks from now we'll be able to do Transit Love 2 episode 14, which will be easier for us to do when we're both busy during that week.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll come back to Heart Signal and hopefully be on the same schedule. But things happen. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it might be a one Heart Signal episode again then just because of timing coming back, I think might happen.
Yeah, it's a good chance we'll have to do one Heart Signal episode, which would be like episode 12, and then we'll try to get back on track and probably do 2 Heart Signal weeks in a row again. So sorry to the Transit Love listeners out there, but
we're just trying to keep pace with the show that's on right now.
Yeah, Transit Love 2 has just like turned a corner, right? And people are saying that it's going to get good. So it's unfortunate the timing of this, but we'll get around to it. We'll get there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to finish that show.
Okay. I didn't take any notes on the previews for episode 10, but do you want to live watch it with me, Sarah, and commentate on it right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it? Okay. All right, I'll set it up.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Okay. Oh, wait.
Ooh,
this is a group date?
This is a double date?
A double date group date.
At an amusement park.
Amusement park? All right. Jisoo Mingyu, Ji Young Hushin. Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's some awkward combo.
They're all wearing like animal ears. Fireworks. Oh my god, this is an
literal
all-day
fireworks. Date. Wow.
Oh my god.
Ooh, some longing looks.
That's gonna be an awkward date, right? Jimin and Hushin.
Yeah.
Jimin and Hushin are gonna go on a date.
Okay.
Hushin
make me believe they're texting each other. Okay, yeah.
Let's go.
Ooh. Jumi and Hands. Oh,
Jumi and Gao, right? Okay.
Ooh.
I'd be down for that to get
those subtitles again. Look like maybe she's giving. Oh, this is cute.
Movie date in the playroom. Let's go.
Oh, finally, after our sneak out movie date.
All right,
yes.
now. Oh my god, let's go. What we've all been waiting for.
Exactly.
We've all been waiting for that and all the ladies in the sauna naked. That's what we've been waiting for all season.
I think you've been waiting for that all season. I honestly forgot about it until now.
They said they were going to do it. If the movie date's happening,
true.
Why can't that happen? You know.
You're right. All things are possible on this show.
All right.
Well, that looks like it's full of stuff. Yeah.
Can't wait for episode 10 of Heart Signal 4. Let's go. Okay.
Looks like a good time. Yeah.
And I think. Yeah, what did we say? We want people to let us know this week. I think about my theory about the prediction segment of the show.
How bullshit is the end of this show?
Yeah, like in general, just like does it make you angry? Like I think I said like people think it's boring, but does it actually bother you? Like the whole thing? Like that's how I feel. I think Sarah, you feel that way too, right? But you're not.
I feel like
you're not conspiracy theorying it, but you're.
Well, I mean, if your conspiracy theory is right, then I am more annoyed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like if they're just straight up like it's one thing to manipulate the edit to tell a story, but it's different to be like, here, this is a thing that didn't happen, but we're gonna tell you it did. Like,
yeah, to me it's like the same thing.
That's just lies.
I like the segment better if like it would make sense to me if that's what they're using it for. Whereas like right now, it's actually just like bothers me that they're able to like get these things right all the time in ways that doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
okay,
yeah, we don't have to get into it again, but there's just some things that they're getting right all the time that I'm just like, how? Okay, whatever. Yeah. So where can people contact us, Sarah?
People can email at us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com, tweet at us at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment under this video on YouTube, also at keepwatchingpod. And if you have some explanation for why none of these texts make sense and everything's bullshit, you can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Yeah, if you have a crazier theory than me, which, I mean, I genuinely don't think my theory is crazy.
Well, of course, who would think their own theory is crazy? Like, obviously.
I mean, I have conspiracy theories on some stuff that happens in these shows sometimes, but I'll be the first to admit, like, it's more likely that I'm wrong than right. But this one, I just feel like
you feel right about.
This is just what you do if you're producing the show.
Oh, I hope you're wrong. You might be right, but I hope you're wrong.
I don't know to the extent of like how often they're lying to us.
Mm-hmm.
If I really wanted to go full blown, like, are the contestants or participants even actually sending production names every night like that? Like that, I wouldn't even be surprised if that's the case. But because we don't get like,
we don't get the cuckoo noise and them having to like stop and text anymore, really.
Yeah. So I mean, they have to be giving some information to production about how they're truly feeling, but whether or not that's, accurately shown in these prediction segments, that I just don't buy.
Okay.
But okay, yeah. Now let us know what you think. I think it's super interesting to talk about. Doesn't make me it makes me happier to know that this is what it's for. Okay, I'm not upset about it.
I'm glad. I'll be a little upset about it. That's okay.
All right, you good? We good?
I'm good. Yeah.
All righty. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.